We are live. All right. So, what did you guys think of? Now, let me just preface this. Richard Carrier, I'm going to be really candid here. About 6 years ago, when he came out with that Atheism Plus bullshit, I could not have been, no, I'm going to be really candid. I could not have been I was not a, let's just say I was not a fan of his.
You were not a fan.
I was now after what I've learned about him in recently, and especially tonight, it seems like maybe I was either disillusioned, or I just didn't really have. Oh, he just messaged me. Richard Carey just messaged me. Oh shit. Maybe he wants in again. Oh shit. Okay, you guys.
Oh, does he want to come? Does he want to come back? Oh,
he wants to come back.
He says just to watch. He says just to watch, but yeah, give it shit. Send him the link. Maybe he'll freaking drop into the chat. I mean,
he already has the link.
Oh yeah, because it's in here.
Yeah, he has the link. I'll talk shit about him with him in the room. That's all right. In fact, that'll be better. No, it'd be better if he's in the room.
Yeah.
Did he get something to eat? Is he really coming back in? Oh, anyway, let's just assume he's not coming back in. He has the link, but
oh shit, we're live. Whoops.
Yeah,
we're live.
I didn't get my beer.
He is, if not the creator of Atheism Plus, he's a big popularizer of it. Yes?
Yeah. Yeah, it just never went anywhere.
No, forget that. Did the movement cause division in our community? Yes or no?
I would say yes.
Then do you think I'm founded in my belief that maybe he was not such a great fucking human being at one time?
I don't know. I wouldn't characterize him as not a great human being. I think it's more...
I think it was a misguided attempt.
Yeah, I think what it was appending non-axiomatic values to what atheism is, and how we really have to kind of stand up for each other just on the basis of our atheism, because we're going to differ across the spectrum broadly.
Yeah.
So when you start appending all these these sociological issues to it, it kind of muddies the landscape a little bit.
Right.
But I do have to say, having talked to him as we just did, that he seems a really personable dude, and certainly
he's not what I expected.
Yeah,
no, me neither.
Yeah. He was able to concisely explain, a lot of his positions, and I like that, even if I disagree with them. I find that important. But yeah, Jim, I think as far as Atheism Plus, it's one of those things where when you just start attaching, extra shit to something basic, you can needlessly convolute it.
It's like we already have a name for it. It's called humanism.
Well, no, humanism is more broad than. Let's just.
Well, it's less specific as as far as the
atheism is the response to a certain claim.
Yeah, that's it's a position on one topic. Yeah.
Look, just the three of us. The four of us. There's Lance here. In fact, this is even better because Lance is here. We embody the entire spectrum of socio-political views, but yet we all four agree that God is not real. Yes?
Yes.
And Lance is the farthest left, and probably TJ is the farthest right.
Yeah,
and I'm somewhere in the center, and Jason is to the right of center.
I'll be over here.
I'm forever going to be categorized as like the right winger.
No. Would you agree that Lance is the farthest left person in this room?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Would you agree that you, TJ, are the Dennis, TJ, you are the farthest right person in this room? But still, we are all atheists.
I think the unknown here.
I don't know. Technically, I don't know if I'm as pro. I'm like as far pro on the Second Amendment side as like say Jason.
That's just one issue.
That's
exactly, and that's what I'm saying. That's just one issue. Yeah, but I think
I'm pro Second Amendment. I'm pro
I'm conservative on some things.
I'm pro life. Maybe I'm the most right.
Yeah, you can see exactly. That's where I think it's an important distinction to make, where the political affiliations kind of like break down. You know, like, shouldn't it just be what, like, Richard made a very, very, very good point where he said, you know what, it shouldn't be about this person is left or this person is right. What makes sense? What's the evidence say? What's the actual, like, correct position on a thing should be? That's what should dictate where your mind goes when you think of a certain topic, right? Not like, oh, this is my guy, or this is my political leaning, so this is how I have to react to a certain, you know, issue.
I was just gonna say, man, unfortunately the thing is that society doesn't really operate that way yet.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah,
you know, people are generally, at least in the US, you know, and this is after having been abroad, I don't know if it's the same observation with you, Jim, at all, but
oh shit, it just dawned on me that we never talked about military shit. We were supposed to.
We didn't. No.
Ah, damn it.
My thing is I think Cirrus and some of the other, you know, maybe I don't know about Lance, but it becomes a very boring topic for them. They don't like hearing it, you know.
Yeah, true.
But the thing is we're very, as Americans, we're very kind of like entitled and full of ourselves, and generally lazy because things are so abundant and available.
Yeah.
And I think this carries over into our thinking, unfortunately, which leads to lazy thinking. Then, of course, we have the theocratic, you know, background, okay, of all these, you know, Christians. So the thing is I understand where he's coming with advocating for critical thinking and rationality, skepticism. But the problem is when he expands beyond that with Atheism Plus, you start to take on positions that other atheists, they themselves, might not hold, which of course leads to tribalism or clique forming.
Oh yeah. We're not asking for him to append all that different stuff to, like, that one position.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's a question in the live chat. Olivia L asks, "Are all of us atheists or mixed religions?"
Atheist.
Atheist.
I'm an atheist.
No,
I'm probably like a 5 or a 5.5 on the Dawkins scale.
Well, with regard to the God of the Old and New Testament, I'm a 6.99, and with regard to any religion in general, I'm a 5.5.
I don't know what those numbers mean, but I will say that I don't believe in any gods whatsoever, and I feel that religion does more harm than good overall.
Yeah.
Then you're about a 6.
You're an anti-theist.
Yeah. So that
I reject.
Whatever that is. So
I was just going to say I reject the Dawkins scale entirely. I don't think it's a.
Yeah, I think it's valid. I think it's useful.
Nah.
Yeah.
I know.
It gives us a jumping off point.
Steve McRae and Smith, they poo-poo it, but I think it's a useful tool.
It might be, you know what? It might be useful in a social setting, Jim, where you don't have to go through all the, you know, etymological and historical usages of terms and all that. I could see that. But to me, it just doesn't accurately describe my position. I don't believe in a God. I reject the claims that others have given me that a God exists, and I don't claim to have any knowledge that one exists or does not exist. So agnostic atheist.
Then you can't be a 4, though. You're not a fence straddler. You can't be equidistant between belief and non-belief. Yes.
I don't think there's, as far as belief goes or claims of knowledge, there's no fence to straddle. There's no.
You either believe or you don't. It's binary.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But a 4 on the Dawkins scale means it could go either way. It's a true fence straddler.
I reject the claim on the. Okay, I'm not omniscient, so I reject the claim on the basis that they make it right now. Okay. So if you ask me if a God exists, then yes, I'm going to say probably not.
Lucifer in the chat, let me tell you, Lucifer, that you believe that no gods exist. Now, that is actually a truth claim, if you didn't already know. When you say I believe no gods exist, that is a truth claim. You have to back that up with evidence. Now, if you say I don't believe gods exist, that's an entirely different statement.
Yeah.
That does not require any evidence.
let me refine my point of view on it. My point of view on it is strictly this. Like, okay, so it's like Jason said, he's like, I don't know everything, and I'm not making a knowledge claim of I know that there are no gods, right? I'm just saying, okay, so the Christians or Muslims or whoever it is that are proposing a definition of a god, right? I'm saying I don't believe that because I haven't seen the evidence for that. Not only that, I'm not saying I don't believe there are gods, but when you say, hey, this particular God exists and we don't see the evidence or the things that would follow rationally from that God existing, taking place, or being present in reality, I would say, no, that God doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're saying, hey, there's this God, Yahweh, and he has this characteristic and that characteristic, and these things would be manifest in reality because he's the God of that reality. And I would reject that and say, no, I don't see that.
Right. This is because you're narrowing the definition into stricter terms of what a God is, which is fine. But what most people don't get is that a belief is simply a propositional position towards the truth of a thing, and it's not a claim. All right,
A either equals A or it does not, or you don't believe A equals
a binary. A binary colloquial fallacy. Shit. What's the word?
How is it that freaking? Oh, yeah, I can't remember how it's supposed to be phrased.
Bifurcation. It's a bifurcation. It's either this or that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get this guy Lucifer to come in the chat. Let's see. Come on, dude. Just come in. Just come in and he's got some things to say.
We're warmed up and ready.
Lucifer Almighty, get in here and talk to us. Oh, now he's got some pressure on him. Lucifer Almighty. We're talking to you.
We are kind of segueing away from the Richard Carrier thing. But...
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
what are you talking about? Okay, so my opinion of him went up about 3 points. And my opinion of him was...
On a scale of 1 to 1,000.
On the scale of 1 to 10, I was about a 3 when I went into this because of the atheism plus thing. And now I'm about a 6. And because he
did surprise me on a number of things.
Yep.
So long as his position is comporting with whatever the evidence leads to, there's no way that I can't support that. Like that's my position in all things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think he's got it wrong on some perspectives, but yeah, for the most part, I think his intentions are pure. At the very least, you know, I think he does believe like the things that he comports himself with, like when he says, you know, you know, it shouldn't be about left or right. It should just be about, you know, whatever the facts of the matter dictate, and it shouldn't. We should be moving away from this kind of like tribalistic kind of, you know, motif. Like I think that's
tribal. That's a great. No, when you say tribalistic, no one ever said tribalistic until now.
That's basically. But that's what he was saying, though.
Yeah, but that's where we're at. It's a very divisive, polarized, tribalistic. I heard it said on, was it not CNN? I heard it said this is the cold civil war.
Yeah,
and isn't that true? This is
I think his intentions are good.
Cold War was not fought with guns and.
It wasn't a hot war. Yeah, it wasn't a hot war. It was a cold war.
This is a cold civil war, and that's exactly where we're at.
It's a cold ideological war. I don't know if it's a cold civil war, but
you guys are too young to remember the mid to late 70s during the gender. It was called the War of the Sexes.
Battle of the Sexes or whatever. Yeah.
It was the Battle of the Sexes. This right now is worse than that. This is as bad as I've ever seen a country polarized.
It's almost like the country's divided in between. Like, this is what I feel like. It's just two groups of seriously irrational and emotive people.
Yeah.
You know, and it's that mob mentality. Like, whoever yells the loudest is therefore the stronger, is the victor.
Yeah.
Well, just as long as you can rationalize being on the outside of both groups, I think we're okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I truly am, and that's the thing is when Dr. Carrier said, we all have our clique, and I'll tell you guys, like, straight up, just me. Like, I'm very selective about who I hang out with and what I do, and I have lost friends because I'm the guy who'll say, you shouldn't have done that, dipshit. You know, that's just me. And I've had people, oh, you're very stoic and pragmatic, and I am, and I actually I've had friends, like, for instance, TJ has squared me.
I've been an asshole in this guy's presence, and he has fucking called me out for it. Trust me.
Yeah, sure. But but what I was getting at was I actually once mischaracterized Matt Dillahunty's philosophical view as a philosophical naturalist. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
How is he not?
He's not. He's a methodological naturalist.
Exactly. And there is a distinction.
Can you define those? Because I don't know the difference.
If Jason can't, I definitely can.
Go ahead, because I'm.
The long and the short of it is, philosophical naturalists take the philosophical naturalist position that the supernatural can't exist because all that does exist is the natural.
Okay, that's a very strong statement.
It's a very strong.
Okay, what's the other one?
Burden of proof adopting type stance.
What's the other naturalist statement?
Methodological naturalism is simply the statement that, look, we don't have the mechanisms now.
Me. That sounds like me.
We don't have the mechanisms or ways to test the supernatural.
That's me.
So until such time as something like that can be demonstrated, all that we have to look at is the natural.
That's all you had to say, Negro, because I don't think that's all you had to say, Negro, because that former one, it makes no sense to me in light of the latter one.
It's just it adopts a burden of proof that I don't think is warranted.
The first one is just too strong. It's almost saying
exactly.
It's almost a truth claim that you have to back up.
Yep.
And I'm not lazy. I will back up any truth claim, but I don't want to make a truth claim unless I can back it up. So I have to take that latter one, that methodological naturalism.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've had friends, or people that have known me that they think, because of the way I look, like you've commented before, Jim, like, the guy you don't want to meet in the back alley. And I get a lot of that from people. But the reality is when somebody comes up to me and they're like, hey, you're torquing that down wrong, or hey, you're doing this wrong. I actually appreciate that. I guess I'm kind of weird. Like, I don't really append a whole lot of ego to that. So my point is I don't know that everybody in the world has to adhere to this tribal clique building. I think we just do because it's comfortable and we have that safety in numbers mentality that is part of our nature, maybe. So I don't think it necessarily has to be that way, though. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, someone just...
No, she's...
Olivia.
She's making a joke.
Is she? Because this is not boring. This is like the opposite of boring. Why would she say she's going to unsubscribe to us?
She said not. At the end.
She said
okay.
not.
All right.
There was a big not.
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 It's all good.
Don't play those.
Clearly a Wayne's World fan.
Don't play mind
Wayne's
games
World.
Don't play mind games with us, Olivia. God damn, son.
Quit playing games with my heart.
She's playing games with my heart. Courtney doesn't want to jump in. Her and her boyfriend, they probably got some things to deal with.
They got some things to do.
You know what I'm saying?
Stuff and things.
They have some stuff and things. They have some Netflix and chilling or whatever the kids are doing.
You know what's funny, though? I wanted to say is there does seem to be, okay, if you go to what is traditionally a conservative state, all right, you usually see a state that has some form of fiscal security.
Yeah.
All right. So when you go to states, okay, I'm a native Californian. I was actually born and raised in California. And listen to me, I love that state. All right, I do. Like the geography of it, Man, I could go 1 hour to the west. I'm on one of the most beautiful oceans and shorelines in the world. Go east, I can hit up Reno and Tahoe. Right? Go south, I'm in the desert. Go north,
Technically, Reno and Tahoe means you've left the state, but go ahead.
True.
Ocean on one side of you and mountains on the other side. Yeah.
Tahoe is actually California side. South Lake Tahoe is California side on the 50.
Yep. Palm Springs.
But what I'm getting at,
Joshua Tree.
It's beautiful, is what he's saying.
It's beautiful.
No, I've been there.
But the fucking laws and all this shit about banning straws. Yeah, the economics. We had what's interesting is this governor that's in right now used to be a governor back in the late 80s and early 90s. And when he was in then, we created a surplus, a fiscal surplus for the budget for the state, right? Yeah. And then immediately after that, it just tanked to shit. And that's when you had, I don't know if you guys remember Gary Coleman running.
Yeah.
Gary Coleman, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger was the one who ended up being the governor.
Yeah.
But every state that has these liberal leanings, all right, and this is like I'm trying not to poo-poo all over liberals because I don't think most of them are fiscally stupid. That's not what I'm saying here. But the fact is,
let's take this outside.
It's actually the opposite. They're actually very shrewd.
Yeah. I didn't mean to jump in the middle of Ralph's statement. I think he was getting to a point. I was just making.
No, it's good. It's good. There are things on the left that I think everybody here is like, man, that's a really good idea. Like if
it just doesn't work in reality.
Well, no, I mean stuff we identify with that is actually a good idea. Like if they're homosexual, man, let them fucking live in peace, right?
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, man. What does it have to do with me?
You know what? I never asked Richard, but I wanted to about the Kinsey scale because he identifies as being 0.5 in the Kinsey scale. And one of you, I think with TJ, you said you are also 0.5, yes?
On what?
The Kinsey scale. Homosexuality.
Oh, it was Lance. Lance, did you say you identified?
What's the Kinsey scale?
The Kinsey scale is 0.0 means you are fully no shit heterosexual. You don't want to even think about homosexual sex,
like to the point where you're afraid of homosexuality, basically?
Probably. And 6.0 means you are so homosexual that you can't even okay so
I'm looking at it, and 0 is exclusively hetero, 6 is exclusively homosexual.
Well, Richard Carrier has identified on his blogs that he is a 0.5, which I wanted to ask him I wanted to ask him, do you think that most Americans are somewhere not on the far extremes, that we're all at least 0.5 to 5.5?
I think humanity in general is probably closer to the 0 end.
Yeah, but how close? Like, like there's a big difference between 0 and 0.5. Like,
not really. I almost feel like that's just like
I'm like, look, I don't know where I am on that scale, but my opinion of it is like, if you're a homosexual, it's not for me to tell you how to live your life. Like, you're a homosexual.
I'm going to tell you.
Like, it's okay. Like, be a homosexual, but don't
what does a homosexual mean? What does that mean? Is that an identity? Is that a is that a hard and strong
to the same sex?
You're
actually attracted to the same sex.
Is it a scale, or is it a no or no go?
Binary. It's binary. You either are
one or the other.
You're either attracted to the same sex or you aren't.
Or is it a scale? Is it a little bit of
how gay you are is a scale?
Yeah, you could be.
Being homosexual is a binary proposition.
No, I doubt it.
You are either attracted to the same sex or you aren't.
Can I say something? And this is going to be.
But binary. I would just like to point out real fast that binary kind of has this idea that it excludes the opposite thing of also being true. Like, binary is one or the other. And so I don't think being homosexual.
Binary.
No, that's not the definition of binary.
That's what you're saying. Not binary.
That is not the definition of binary.
Fucking means.
The definition of binary is it is one state or the other.
It's either a 1 or a 0. That's what binary is.
There are 2 states. There are 2 states.
And so being gay is not binary.
There's
you
no
are
scale.
either attracted to you are either sexually attracted to the same sex or you aren't.
So you're either a 0 or a 6.
What else is there?
A lot of
What
people.
else
No,
is there?
not a 0 or a 6.
No, it's not saying a 0 or a 6.
No, you did. Okay. You're not allowing for a
how
scale.
How flamboyantly gay you are. Of course, that can be a scale.
I actually think TJ has a point in that. Yes, it is true that you are either gay or you are not. It is like a flag. It is either true or false.
Yes.
The issue is by saying
when you
I feel like a lot of people here.
Meaning, what's the halfway between 2 and 0?
Yeah,
and 6?
I get.
Like
but I understand what.
3 and
but
a half.
All I was saying is like the other thing is like once you say yes, being gay is a binary thing.
Yeah.
You also have to.
Richard Carey just messaged me. Hold on. Do you want to read it?
I was going to say you also have to include in that argument that being straight is also a binary thing.
Can I read you what Richard Carey just wrote me?
It doesn't have to do with what we're talking about right now, but yeah, go ahead.
All right. FYI, I agree. Phil Net bears a burden of evidence is a truth claim, but I believe we can meet the burden. I mean, the case in sense and goodness without God. More so now. Oh God, this is Bayesian bullshit.
Yeah. That I get.
No, this gets really
You're committed to reading it.
Bayesian epistemology. He is really making me think now. Okay. Oh, he's listening to us. No, he's totally listening to us right now because we're talking about a 0.5 in the Kinsey.
Which is, I mean, that's cool. He can continue to give us feedback.
That is badass that he's listening to us right now.
Sure.
But 0.5 doesn't even seem like it's worth bothering to mention.
No, the fact
like
that
0.1
he wants to clarify that
he thought about a dick once.
No, he wants to say that although he had identified as a 0.5 in the Kinsey scale, he's not bi, but he's bi adjacent.
I'm fairly certain I can explain.
No, wait. He thinks there's a lot of non-zero in the populace. People are afraid and pressured to admitting that they're, I would guess, that more extreme to the left or right. Yeah, but it's okay for them, and sexuality is a way more fluid than most people think. Which I was going to say before I read the next thing he says. I'm going to admit that okay, I'm about a 2. Does that scare anyone? Does that scare anybody?
No, I just want to respond to what Richard says next.
No, I just want you to react to my 2 statement first.
Oh, faggot!
Doesn't bother? Yeah, whatever.
I don't even said anything like that, dude. Yeah.
The only reason I say that is because I did some work in college that got me through. It got me through my tuition because I didn't have GI Bill. I didn't have a dad that was military like my kids have, and I had to get through college. And I did some things that I am not neither proud of or not proud of. But the fact that I could increase blood flow to that area during that what I was doing means that I did not like what I was doing.
So you were pragmatically using it. It became utility.
Do you understand what I'm saying now?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You would
yeah.
Then so I just told the whole world that.
No, here's the thing, and I kind of want to break it down a little bit because I think it's important. Okay, so what TJ is saying about the binary state, that's true.
Richard Carey has some more things to say after this.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, of course he's going to say it's not binary. I mean,
no, it's binary. You either do or you don't, and that could change on a given day. Okay, but the state itself is either on or off. Okay?
Right. Exactly.
But what I'm getting at is that there are behavioral quirks inside sexuality. Okay, like I have known some guys, for instance, maybe during a male female interaction, right? The one guy's holding the other guy's hand, or they decide to kiss, and it becomes permissible in that scenario.
Oh, that's worse than sex. That's like an emotional thing.
No, it's sex.
No, it's 2 males kissing.
I don't think it's a bad thing, but
more homosexual than 2 males having anal sex, in my opinion.
I don't know. I don't think so at all, because that's a manipulation act right there. That's almost like if you were looking at the Kinsey scale, you would probably put that. 2 and greater, at least. Sure.
No, that's weird. That's weird to me. I never kissed a guy.
Look, aside from how attracted you are to the same sex. If you are at all attracted to the same sex at any point, you are a homosexual.
Well, unless you're
no. Where do you want to draw the line?
You can't suck dick and not be a homo.
You can.
I'm just saying.
Because then you're bisexual.
Would you call me a homosexual then?
Then you're bi. Then you could be bi. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
then
okay.
You could be bi.
Would it matter if the reasons behind sucking said dick?
But you are. But if you. But let me ask this. Let me ask this. If you're bisexual, aren't you also homosexual?
I would say yeah. Sure.
Thank you. If
from
you could be bisexual and also homosexual.
From my experience, someone who openly identifies as bisexual, if you are female, you are usually heterosexual.
Homosexuality.
No, listen. A woman who identifies as bisexual is usually heterosexual that just placates to men's fantasies. And a man who identifies as bisexual is usually a homosexual.
They're more hardcore into it. Yeah.
That is just faking they're not ready to come completely out of the closet. I don't know if there's I'm not listen, I'm not homosexual.
It works both ways.
If you ask me some very pointed questions,
I say homosexuality is a subset of bisexuality.
So
here's ask me some very pointed questions, which I don't mind answering on camera. You would probably call me a homosexual,
let me ask you one then,
I'm
Jim.
not.
Let me ask you though, Jim. Are you attracted to men?
Not a bit.
There you go. Not homosexual.
Can my penis,
then you're not a homosexual.
Can I maintain erection if there's only a man in the room? Ask me that.
I think it just means you're a pragmatist.
I mean, that's the way I look at it. Actually,
if I'm trying to get through college, if I'm trying to pay my college tuition, the fact that
that's what I'm saying. You're just
you know what I'm saying?
You're just a pragmatist.
That is superior sexual control.
Right. Yeah, it really is.
It is.
Well, now here's a fuck. I can't put this into soft words, so I'm just gonna say it straight up. If a woman is being raped and she gets wet, is she enjoying it? Well, I mean, he's talking about is getting hard during a homosexual event gay. Well, is getting wet during a rape mean that the woman wants it? I mean, I think that there's some similarities there in that
maybe
you can be like your body can react in ways that you don't intend because of what your body does.
There are
like
if somebody was sucking my dick, I would get hard.
Exactly, because a dude could suck my dick and I'm not a homo, but if he sucked my dick, I might fucking pop a boner.
I mean, I probably
you know what I'm saying?
That is because you don't have the physiological control that others do. And that's not whether you're good or bad or anything to do with
Dr. Carrier. Sorry, guys, but Dr. Carrier is blowing me up, and he needs to get the fuck.
He's blowing you up.
He needs to come on. He needs to come on the.
He needs to come on.
Broadcast.
Here, I'm going to send the link again, Richard.
I'm reading it. I've been reading it, but I'm also trying to keep the.
Yeah, but he is like blowing.
He should have just fucking stuck around.
He probably just.
Anyway.
Yeah, I saw him. No, I saw him on the non sequitur where he did an entire show, and they asked him, "Hey, you want to stick around for this flat Earth thing we got going on?" And he said, "Yeah." So I know he's willing to stick around for other shit. And
Lucifer Almighty.
Richard Carrier does not know shit about flat Earth. He knows as much. No, he knows exactly as much as I do, but he was willing to stick around for it. Yeah. So he needs to get in here.
Let him eat, man.
Lucifer Almighty says women can have orgasms while being raped, and I would have to point out when somebody says something like that, I have to point out that if you are a Muslim woman and you have an orgasm while being raped, it is almost assured that you must be stoned to death.
Well,
I mean, I was just
for having sexual feelings towards your rapist.
That's true. By words in their book, I was just trying to point out in the context of is somebody gay, in the sense of they were doing gay shit, but if they're not attracted, if they're not actually attracted to that sort of environment or that sort of thing, That doesn't.
But
make
that's different though, because that woman. That's different though, because that woman may be attracted to men, just not that particular man.
But
that's
again, like having a sexual response to a sexual situation.
No, exactly, and it's totally different. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
It has
like
nothing to do with your sexual orientation.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not gay. It's not gay to get your dick sucked by a guy. It is gay to want to have your dick sucked by a guy.
Yes, correct.
For your own reasons.
For pleasure or for money?
Specifically by a guy, or just to want to have your dick sucked?
Okay, let's curveball this.
No, it's the reasons behind it.
Sorry,
let's curveball
if you're trying to get through college.
Goddamn cold is creeping up on me.
Yeah. Now, okay. So here's one. If you're a guy and you want to be fucked in the ass by a lady with a strap on, are you gay or straight?
Ooh.
No, because your entire sexuality.
I think you're a fucking beta cuck if you fucking.
No, man, you don't have to be. Listen, you could be a skull dragon hombre who stacks bodies 24/7 and still like to get pounded in the ass by your wife.
Well, there's an actual term for it in the BDSM community. It's called getting pegged.
Yes.
Right, pegging. Yes. Well, okay, yeah. So if you want to get specific about it, obviously that's what it is. But I didn't think maybe the viewers at home knew what the term was.
Yeah.
I met somebody who didn't know what bukkake meant, and it was hilarious.
Dude, listen, this is going to sound kind of odd, but my life was actually saved in Iraq by a dude who was a big black swole guy named Grover. And he
you like getting fucked in the ass?
Oh, dude, he was
for the viewers at home, Jason was in Iraq 3 years before me, and he was actually in the fucking. There is no doubt. In fact, he was objectively in the fucking shit.
Yeah,
well, yeah. If he was pegging somebody.
No. Of Iraq.
You were there in 03, right?
Correct. Yeah, March 20th.
Okay. Now, I was there in 06. Now, we've already talked about this, but now, if you were there in 03 and you did the push to Baghdad, I have even all the blood and guts stories I could ever tell. It pales in comparison to what anything you've ever said.
Even if you were not part of, let's say, direct action at the time, let me tell you that you were wading through what looked like a fucking meat grinder. And that's the most polite way I can say it.
I've seen shit that gives me nightmares nightly. I mean, literally, I have to put this fucking thing on my face. No, it's bad.
But what I was getting at was this guy. He was a 249 gunner, and he was my TC. And he would, I'm sorry, a 249 is a machine gun, 5.56 belt-fed machine gun. And a TC is also, it stands for tank commander, but in the military, it literally just means the guy who rides shotgun. Most of the time, unless you're in a tank. So anyways, it's just funny to me because this guy...
in the Marine Corps, we call it an AD, assistant driver.
Gotcha. Yeah, for us, it's TC. It stands for tank commander, but it's slang for shotgun. Basically,
it's like, do you have to go like whenever you hit the parking lot or whatever? Do you have to yell that, or is it like understood?
No,
Richard,
it's understood.
Richard, if you were in here, you would call it the designated. I don't know.
Designated hitter. The DH.
Designated hitter. No, it would be the CG for Richard. It'd be the computer jockey.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at.
Sorry, Richard. See, you need to get in here so you can defend yourself.
So here's the thing, right?
Yeah,
this guy, he's a big swole dude, right? Like if you looked at him, he was the kind of guy who looked like he could pick you up by your neck and snap you in half. All right, big
Sounds
dude.
Kinky.
Yeah, well, maybe he was into that. I don't know. But it was so funny because you'd come up to him and you'd be like, you know, upon first seeing him, maybe a little hesitant, you know, big guy, you know, hey, how you doing there, man? And he would turn, he'd look at you, and he'd be like, oh, I'm doing wonderful today. How are you? And you're just like, oh, okay.
It's one of those.
So, and here's what I'm getting at, man, is there seems to be this I don't even want to say femininity because that sounds wrong too. There are some pretty nasty women out there who'll fuck you up. But what I'm getting at is there seems to be this passiveness, this docile nature that's associated with homosexuals. And I'm here to tell you right now, some of these guys will stick a 12 gauge in your mouth and canoe your head.
Yeah, I get that.
Because they are still what? They're males.
Well,
no,
it's not even just.
Let me say two words. sexual dimorphism.
Yeah, and there's a reason why
we are
associate.
Bigger, we are stronger, we are faster, we are way more powerful, and they have had to live under our thumb since humans have been around.
There have been homosexuals ever since freaking, there have been mammals probably.
Well, there was actually, I'm trying to remember, it was a Greek unit that actually clubbed the shit out of the Spartans.
But
was because the unit was comprised of their gay male lovers.
But look.
No, they're not lovers. Those are just conscripts that they have anal sex with.
Yeah.
No, listen.
Say that they had
because a glitch in the matrix, because a glitch exists, doesn't mean that glitch should be thought of as normal or encouraged.
I've studied the Spartans. Can I explain to you how the conscripts work?
Sounds like it.
I'm not talking about the conscripts, Jim. I'm talking about the army from the other nation that they
Can I tell you how the Spartans take on their gay lovers?
The Helots. Yeah, the Helots.
Hellenites. Helots. Yeah. Okay, so we are in Greece, pre-Herodias. We are training to fight the Persians, and when you take on they have to be at least 6 years old when they come on to and they get assigned to you from the age 6.
The Thebes. There you go. Thanks, Doctor.
From the age 6 to the age 18, you are a recruit. I know there's a Greek word for it, but you are a recruit. That's if you survive the weathering. You know what the weathering is? Weathering is prior to age 6, you're thrown out of your house.
Is it the gogi or something like that?
No, you're put in a wicker basket and you're put outside your house for 48 hours. And if you survive off nothing for 48 hours, then you're worthy. You're an infant. You're barely out of the womb.
Yeah. So in other words, you're in the weather, out in the weather.
It's called weathering. It's 48 hours
it's called
in
weathering,
a wicker basket. And
out in the elements.
It's only for males. Females, fuck females. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like that. All right, so for the males, and then if you make that by age 6, you're assigned to a counselor that is going to take you in. That is not a homosexual relationship, although you engage in anal sex like a school. Yeah. That's the crazy part. It's not even considered a sexual relation. You go home to your wife even, and she's like, "Yeah, no problem." You know?
Yeah, it was a polyamory, I think is what they called it, right?
It's not even polyamory. No, this is
not polyamory. Dude, pederasty.
Okay, I was about to say, dude, was that a joke? That was a funny joke if that was a joke, dude.
Listen, it's not even. I have been fighting a cold for like 4 days. That's why I was quiet most of the podcast.
Is that a Python retort? I'm sorry, I have a code. I have a code. What do you mean? What you mean? What you mean? I'm sorry,
in the middle of a thought.
I'll be right back. I have to fetch a shrubbery.
I love me a shrubbery.
No, that was from the parrot sketch.
Skull fangs.
That's from the parrot sketch.
Parrot.
It has ceased to be.
It's an ex-parrot.
You guys
God, I don't know what I was saying. Okay, it's not a sexual relationship. And from the age 6 or 8 to the age 18, they are assigned to a consulate, and this is your mentor, and he trains you. And it was never a sexual relationship, even though they had anal sex like it was fucking cool. It's Greeks. Yeah. You say, I want to have sex. Yeah. Like when you say to your lady friend right now, I want to have sex Greek style. What do you mean?
I must be part Greek then.
It means you want to have anal sex. It's so like predominant with the culture, but it's not. It wasn't a sexual thing. But the fact that which goes in line with what I was saying, is if you can will blood to that area, if you can maintain an erection during that, it means you're slightly fucking up for the project, right?
I don't think so, because you can have different people physiologically have more control over response from that area.
Huh.
You can't. There are people who.
Well, there's a reason I got through college, and I paid for my college through something, and it involved willing my. It was through willing my blood to a certain area that I didn't think I would normally. You know what? That's why, like Richard Carrier says, he's a 0.5. I say I'm a 2 out of 6, and the only reason I say I'm a 2 is because, hey, I made that shit happen.
Yeah.
Is that doesn't make me gay?
See, this
or does it? I don't know. Does it make me gay? I don't know.
Is that kind of shit turn you on? Are you turned on by dudes?
Not a fucking bit. But can I do it?
Okay, then you're not homosexual.
But can I do it? That's the thing. Can I?
It doesn't matter if you can do it or not. Like a lot of people, like when they get started in porn, they have to do like gay porn. That's just the thing.
The only way for a male to make money in porn, real money,
is to start out gay.
No, fuck. Start out is to do gay.
Do gay.
Full
porn.
Gay. Yeah.
Well,
the only way a male can make any money in porn is to do full gay all the time.
I don't know, man.
Well,
obviously, there's more guys
Rocco Siffredi and
yeah, I would agree that there's a lot less opportunity for males to become big stars in porn.
Ron Jeremy,
and
Rocco Siffredi and Peter Lorre.
So you have those guys. You have like a very small minority of guys who make it big in porn, like hetero porn.
No one makes it big in porn
But a lot of fucking women can make it in porn. A lot of thoughts.
More beautiful shape, generally.
A lot of fucking thoughts make it in porn. A lot of fucking thoughts make it in porn.
That's great. So they make $1,400
but not a lot of dudes do. Very few men do.
Of course, not very many men do.
Aaron Raw has 600 patrons. He makes $60,000 a month. Just talking about religion, and these chicks have to take 6 black cocks a week.
Which, if you watch them taking them, it's not really that big of a deal for them. I mean, it's not.
It's not.
Well, some of them are a big deal.
Like I think they're set in life. They're not set in life.
This was from
Carrier
to big black cocks in about 10 minutes.
We're talking about BBC. We are actually talking about BBCs in a fucking live chat on fucking Atheist Edge.
Richard Carrier.
This is America, bitch. America.
Okay. Whenever I can talk. Okay, Richard Carrier has been accused of only making $15,000 a year off of his book royalties. And you can't live on $15,000 a year. So they're saying, how does he make it through? So he's got speaking engagements and I don't know how he makes his money.
I don't know. $15,000 a month is a pretty
a year.
A year.
Oh, a year. I got you.
My book royalties grant me my book royalties.
Pita chips with?
No, my shit book royalties get me about $1,200 a year, and I have two shit books. He has about
$100 a month.
$100 a month, and he has about 24 books that are peer reviewed, doctorally. I mean, they're cited, and he makes $15,000 a year just on his books. He doesn't have a YouTube channel, so where does he get his extra money? He doesn't have his own YouTube channel. He comes on other people's. Where does he get his other money?
I seriously doubt he's only getting $15,000 off book royalties a year.
That's what people have said.
That's what people have said. We should have asked him. I'm sure he's listening to us.
Yeah, he probably would do better, whatever. But
I was like,
he's written lots of books. I doubt it's that small of an amount. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying that's not true. I'm just saying
he already went to bed. He's not going to be reading this until later.
No, he's not.
He said he's warm and fed and fuzzy and heading down
Richard
for some
isn't going to
shows.
hear this. Yeah.
He'll watch it later.
He's going to Netflix and chill with his .50.
No, .05.
Is it .05?
0.05?
0.5. Yeah, that's why I said 0.50.
That's because it's completely different things.
I just admitted
0.05
to
doesn't
2.0, so fuck him.
0.5 doesn't even make sense. It's like I touched a wiener once. As
like 20th.
Yeah. No,
Lance,
what it's like is you're jerking off in bed to some titties.
I don't even think it's that.
Yeah.
No. And then you're like, there's a penis, and I want to touch it, but I'm not going to touch it.
Lance, I've done a little bit more than touch a wiener with my wiener. Let's just.
That's what
Have you sword fought? Have you sword fought, Jim?
0.05 is
really
nothing on the scale.
Let's just say
we call that in the army is backstabbing sword fighting.
You guys really want to know? Because I'll tell you.
No, actually,
please don't disillusion me.
No one has asked.
It doesn't make me. Does it make me less or more like
Jim,
in your eyes?
told me,
what?
You've told me plenty of stuff where if it was really a revelation that it came out in a live chat, it would really not hurt my feelings. Trust me.
Lance says, "Yeah, your humor is hit or miss." I don't know who he's talking to.
He's talking about Monty Python.
Monty Python.
Yeah,
I was talking about Monty Python.
The reason why most women don't get it is because it's cerebral.
Oh no, women don't get British comedy
because it's dry. Because it's dry.
Very dry and basic.
And we about that.
Hey, do you watch Snuffbox or Mighty Boosh?
Listen, the favorite movie in my house for my girls is Hot Fuzz. You guys know that movie?
Hot Fuzz? Yeah. That's a different breed of British comedy.
But it's still British comedy, and the parts that they laugh
at. No, it's not. It's real British comedy. That's true British comedy.
It's almost slapstick.
But it's not really.
Isn't that what Monty Python is? Slapstick.
Yeah.
It's all,
Monty Python slapstick. Some of it's slapstick.
And Snuffbox and Mighty Boosh and
there is no slapstick.
Faulty Towers.
Yeah, there's
for sure.
Anyways, what I wanted to talk about Richard Carrier. Now that we're off of BBC's,
what does he like about Monty Python?
No, what else
do you like about Monty?
But what else I wanted to ask him actually was, see, for me when I was in, yes, the military does its best. I know in the Marine Corps, they do this about the same as the Army. They try very much everybody's green. And the reason I know that is I've got Marine family, and I've had Marine best friends, and they all say basically the same thing. There's more in common.
I was married to a Marine. Yeah.
So anyway,
I've told you that story though. So
what I was getting at was, he said that was kind of what motivated him, if I recall properly, was his Coast Guard service into being more supportive of, I guess, the feminist cause. Am I recalling that properly? That's what he said, either pre-show or very early in the show.
He says it broke him out of some preconceptions that he had being in the military about what he thought about women and stuff like that. So
but see, and I had this conversation with you before though, TJ, is and don't get me wrong, my brothers and my sisters, I love them all, man, sincerely, right? Mm-hmm. But there still is sexism, as in sometimes favoritism in the military, and racism still exists. I don't know about in the Marine Corps, but in the Army, you can run across it.
It's hardcore in the Navy, man. Every chief that you meet in the fucking Navy is a Filipino, dude. Every single one of them, dude.
Well,
like almost every single one.
Depends on your service.
Yeah,
dude, they hate white dudes, man. They fucking hate white dudes, man.
It depends on what your rate. Well, you guys call it rating, we call it MOS, but depends on what your job title is.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, but what I'm saying is like, and this is an example I gave. Now, the person in this example that I'm giving, love her to death. She's great. She'll be my sister forever, right?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But her and I went to the range upon arriving at the unit, right? And you'll find this interesting, Jim. So, I was assigned the Mark 19 Mod 3.
Oh, God. I love that weapon.
Dude, yeah, that thing became my baby. I was Battalion Jesus when it came to the Mark 19 Mod 3.
You can rule the earth with.
Okay.
If you took one of those back to like ancient Rome, you could rule.
You could rule the world easily. Yes. Easily.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't have any bullets though.
No, all the 40 mics you could take with you.
HEDP out the ass.
Like if you took an entire like truck full of belt-fed 40 mics, you could
Okay,
rule the
that
earth.
and the gun. Okay, so both of them.
Yeah.
Yep. So, anyways, so we go to the range. We go to our separate ranges. She goes to the 50 cal range.
Lance says phagmatic.
All right.
That was ages ago
That
when
was
you were
a
talking about
long
being
time
pragmatic.
ago. long time ago.
Oh God,
So
that's so funny.
this new troop, she goes to the 50 range, and I go to the Mark 19 range. Now, I just happen to be paired with my section sergeant, who is an excellent marksman. He's got the Schützenschnur, which is a German award for marksmanship. You can actually get that in the Army. So he's got that.
He wasn't a pizza box.
Did you ever get the Schadenfreude award?
Were you a Jim? Were you a cross mop guy or were you a pizza box guy?
Dude, I was okay. All right, you guys ready?
Let's see the cross mop.
Well, I wanted to finish my
Wait.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So we'll let him show the thing because he's walking around the fucking house.
He's gonna show me his cross mops. He's got to show me his cross mops.
We all saw how excited Jim was when you talked about going to the unit.
Yeah.
I don't even think he heard me.
Okay.
God damn, Lance, you're so funny sometimes, dude. I swear to God.
He didn't hear me. He has headphones off.
All right.
Yeah,
do you see right here? Do you see right here?
He's got the cross mops. He's got cross mops.
That was me for 21 years without fail. I never went down.
And you called cross mops
right there.
No, I never went to Iron Cross. I never went to Pizza Box.
But you were always
this
cross
for
mops.
21 years straight. This, if it was accurate, it would be a 21-year award.
I don't even know if you guys can see that barely, but that's my expert letter. That's what the Army one looks like.
Nice. It's basically the same.
Yeah, it's just inverted. It's like your ladder's on top, and then the award hangs off the bottom. Ours is the award on top, and then the ladders hang off it.
But the thing is, with military, Army, and Marine Corps especially, even if you're Pizza Box, you are a fucking decent shot.
Yeah.
You're goddamn dangerous.
Well, yeah. Let me go back to the story, though, because the story's good. It touches on feminism and all that other shit.
All right, go ahead.
In the military. So, and again, no disrespect to the people that I'm talking about. But anyway, so she was a petite little blonde thing, probably 115 pounds, soaking wet. And she went over to the 50 cal range. Now I went to the Mark 19 range with my NCO. Okay. Sat down, got the full rigmarole from him. He went through, operating the platform, aiming it, basically the whole deal. And he did a great job. I understood it first go around. So I qualify distinguished, which is the highest rating you can get for the Mark 19. This is having never touched the weapon platform again, or before, okay? I touched it after that plenty. So she goes to her range. She can't even charge the weapon. She lacks the upper body strength to pull the charging handle back on the 50 cal. Okay? Not for lack of trying. This soldier, I guarantee you, she tried her ass off. So she's putting her foot on the tripod, trying to pull the weapon back. Can't do it. Can't charge it. So one of the NCOs charges the weapon for her. Okay. Which, as you all know in combat, that's not really something you want to happen.
Yeah.
That outside of the scope.
That might be a little bit detrimental to the mission objective.
She qualified first go around. Now, I've thought about this a lot. Like, I'm not bitter about it. I wasn't bitter about it then. I just thought it was weird. Okay. She gets an AAM, which is an Army Achievement Medal for persevering with the 50 cal. Okay. It's a lower medal, but I got nothing for firing distinguished, having never touched a weapon before. Now, in my opinion, we both should have got nothing. That's, you know what I mean? Like, cool. I got a distinguished, device I can hang off, for whatever from our Mark 19. That's enough, man. But, things like that happened in the unit. I had a first sergeant, best first sergeant I ever had, great guy, had a woman in the unit who was on like her 7th kid. All right. So basically her whole time in to avoid deployments, field exercises, she was pregnant 24/7. Right?
Damn.
I'm not kidding. So this first sergeant in general, he saw past this, right? but she was given a.
He was one fucking her. Anyway.
No, he was not.
Oh, okay.
No, he was having none of her shit. Like he would make her do whatever her profile, and that's the whole thing. Is she had a light load profile? You know, when you're pregnant, you give them. I guess in the Marine Corps they call it a chit.
Yeah, chit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called an LD chit.
Yeah, light duty. Yeah. So light duty can't pick up over more than 15 pounds. And man, she would play that shit. And one day I was sitting in an adjacent office, fire control office, and I could hear through the walls, and her and the first sergeant were getting into a little spat because he asked her to move a ream of paper, which is like 5 pounds, right? And she said, no, I can't do that. And he says, well, let me see your light duty profile. Okay, so she hands it to him. And he says, okay, this is under 15 pounds. You're going to move. Like they're having an argument over moving a ream of paper. But in the end, and I think because, you know, she was female or whatever, at least in my opinion, I could be wrong, but nothing really happened. I mean, she's disobeying a direct lawful order from a senior NCO. Right? And nothing happens. You know, presumably because she has, you know, breasts and a vagina.
Yeah.
You know, but I saw a lot of this, and I've actually been racially accosted in the military as well. But I've also seen the good old boys operating. In one unit I was in, we had a guy. He was clearly, you know, all about those ends were bad ends, and you know they were always out to get us or whatever, and you would see that in how he treated them, you know, throughout the duty day. But what I'm getting at is it's very weird how his service, I guess, got rid of some of those misconceptions, whereas in my service, I actually saw some of them upheld, if that makes sense.
What makes sense is that human beings are tribalistic, and
are human beings, and
are human beings, and will act accordingly. And there's no grand scheme. There's no grand like Archie over anything. You know, that's dictating people's you know, circumstances. It's just people act how they act.
Oh, quick segue. The guy who saved my life before, he was put out on Article 125.
That's a 129. I know 132 is like a general, like it could be anything, a catch-all.
125 is sodomy.
Oh,
shit. Yeah, but that could be any. If you could be convicted of that if you have sex with your wife, not that in a missionary position.
But apparently, somebody in his unit that he was having a relationship with decided to rat on him because he wouldn't.
You guys have any like huge regret?
How do you invoke that though? Oh, this dude fucked me in the ass. Oh shit.
Yeah, I think that's it. You know, or hey, I can tell you something about someone. This was before DADT was repealed.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a shame. It was like a year before it was repealed.
So it was even an inkling of homosexuality was you got drummed out.
Basically. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how it is in the other branches, but in the Army, you know, and as long as it doesn't come up, nobody gives a shit. Right?
Well, that was
okay.
DATT, yeah, but yeah, it changed after it was opened up in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
It was a whole different animal after that, but I got out in 2012, and I don't know if I'm ready to talk about how I got out, but it was definitely a similar situation. Ask me one day. I don't know if I'm ready to talk about it yet.
It's cool, man.
No, I'm totally.
Was it on a 125?
It was a NXJ. If anyone is familiar with an NXJ, does anyone know? I'm sure
NXJ.
An NXJ.
I know an NJP. I've been
an NJP is part of an NXJ. Yes.
I've been NJP before.
You were?
NJP'd. I've been NJP'd, not an XJ.
I have NJP'd.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was NJP'd for a DUI when I was in California.
Oh shit. Okay.
Even though I never got convicted of the fucking DUI in civilian court, but I was NJP'd for it. For damn sure.
Here we go. I guess it's time to talk about it. Here we go. Okay.
I've heard this story, by the way. So
did you?
Good. Yeah, you've told me.
You're drunk.
No, I'm totally okay with talking about it, drunk or not.
I'm saying why you didn't remember telling him.
No, I just haven't found a time, and I guess today's the time. Okay. 21 years. I was planning on doing 30. I was stationed in Germany. It was 2012. A woman that lived across the parking lot from our barracks, her husband was Army. He was in Afghanistan at the time. She took a liking to me. My wife warned me that she was coming on a little too strong. And in my mind, I thought she's just, because I smoked back then. I used to smoke actual cigarettes. And so we'd go out and smoke together. And I thought, oh, it's harmless. And my wife said, no, it's more than that. She fucking finds you attractive. Okay. I didn't see it. Long story short, we're watching DVD number 2 of 2 of Brian Greene's String Theory, The Fabric of the Cosmos, in our living room. This is how much I remember it. All right, so it's the second DVD of 2. We all been drinking heavily. My wife passes out in the next room. I shut my eyes halfway through. When I wake up, I'm in my pajamas, like sleeping pants, in bed with my wife. Think no big deal. I didn't think anything. We went, the next day was the start of like a 4-day weekend where I took my family to Italy. We went to Venice. We went to Verona. We went to Naples. It was, I didn't think shit. When I got back, the shit had hit the fan because her husband had gotten home from Afghanistan. She had admitted to having sex with me. What? So I had no fucking, so if anyone wants to think Me Too is not in reverse, Me Too can be in reverse. The Me Too movement can be in, and
I don't think it demonstrates a reverse. It just demonstrates how flawed the premise of it is.
Yeah, but when someone like me, when a male does a hashtag Me Too that I was taken advantage of by a female, how unnoticed it goes.
Yeah.
Long story short, here's a 21-year Marine with no NJPs, no written counselings, no verbal counselings. I was the epitome of Marine Corps
military bearing and all that kind of stuff.
Yes,
yes.
Honor.
Yes. All integrity is what I'm integrity. I was all about integrity. I fed it to my Marines. 21 years. I had 9 more to go until I was going to retire at a 75% pension.
Oh, yeah.
Long story short, Annex J, we don't need you anymore. Go home.
Oh, that's what it is. It's a force out of like they tell you that you have to retire.
Well, it only happens if you're over 20 years in.
Yeah.
If you're not over 20 years in, you're fucked. I just got lucky because I was 21 years in. And I just happened to, that's why we were talking earlier about suicide. That was, the Marine Corps was so.
Did you think about suicide when that happened to you?
Of course I did. In fact, I do to this day. The Marine Corps was everything to me. It was my whole life. It was everything I put my life into.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So on a single accusation, a single word, a single sentence from a woman ruined your life.
Her husband came home from Afghanistan and saw
That's the reality that we live in.
Her husband came back from our Afghanistan and saw a purple dildo on her nightstand. It did not smell like her. And she said, yes, he and I did some things. And that's what sparked everything. And now, in retrospect, I've sat and I've mulled over this, it probably did happen. I probably did walk across that parking lot, and I probably did come back and put my pajama. And I still, it was a complete blackout. I have no idea if it did or not. And I'm not going to pull Kavanaugh and say I've never blacked out. I fucking blacked out.
What does pull a Kavanaugh mean?
Kavanaugh says he never blacked out. He said he drank until he fell asleep, but he'd never admits to blacking out. I admit to drinking to blackout.
I think they call those DDTs, if I recall properly.
No, Kavanaugh's a piece of shit. Because based on what? Just based on his fucking yearbook.
Yeah, based on the fact that he's a piece of shit.
That's not an argument. That's not an argument.
He has consumed alcohol to blackout on multiple occasions. Everyone knows it, and he's a fucking liar. All right, so anyway.
I asked you based on what, but you didn't answer me. You said
his yearbook said he was in the 100.
No, he's focusing on me now because
I'm asking you specifically.
His yearbook says he was in the 100 keg club for this semester.
Okay.
Who drinks 100 kegs in a semester and doesn't black out?
A lot.
Okay, enough to fucking black out.
That makes him a piece of shit because he drank a lot.
Nope. He's not.
That's what you're saying.
He's a piece of shit because he lied about not ever blacking out from alcohol.
Does that make him a rapist?
No, it just makes him fucking.
Okay, that's what we're asking.
Be on the Supreme Court.
That's what's important.
When he says
the important. Yes, that is the important thing, Lance.
When he says he's an alumni of the X Club, and the X meaning a girl that everyone slept with. And when that girl
I'm just sorry. That's not compelling. That's not compelling evidence.
That is damning evidence.
That is not
damning evidence.
Can I finish my statement? That is not evidence to compel a jury of someone's peers to convict them of rape.
No, it's not. But you asked me.
No, it's not.
No, wait, hold on. He asked me.
No, it's not.
Why I think he's an asshole? Not why do I think that I have the evidence to convict him of rape?
No, you said you said he's a piece of shit, and I asked why he's a piece of shit. You just said because he is a piece of shit.
Any of these reasons, I didn't think we needed to get into it. I didn't think we needed to get into it.
You didn't. No, yeah, we
Google
do.
Exists.
Yes, because it is important to get into it. Because you don't just say someone is a rapist and just be believed based on nothing but emotions.
But when his yearbook says he's a member of the X Alumni Club, and X is a woman's name who is known for being gang raped. That is huge.
That's not necessarily true either.
Where does that even come into it?
Because he's a piece of shit. You asked me why
would his yearbook say
and that's not an argument, Lance.
Then what is an argument?
You're digging yourself a bigger and bigger hole.
I don't know him when he was in fucking high school.
Was a gang rapist. Yes, I can
based
back
on
up,
what?
Based on
a
his
yearbook?
Yep.
That is not compelling evidence.
If he said he was a member of the X alumni club, and that X is a woman's name who was known for being gang raped.
That isn't evidence.
Yeah, it is great.
No,
evidence.
It's not.
Not only is it bad. Not only is it not bad evidence.
Machine.
Not only is it not bad evidence, it's actually great evidence. He was a fucking rapist.
How do you? What's your standard of evidence then?
Look, we don't know because we weren't there 40 years ago or whenever this happened.
Exactly.
That he seemed to be
obviously because this person waited fucking 36 years.
Well, that doesn't mean shit because there have been very few women who have come out. No, there have been
yearbook. I'm sorry, but if a yearbook,
most women don't come out on this shit.
Hey.
If a yearbook from 36 years ago matters.
Wait, what is smart TV? What's smart TV?
A smart TV is any TV that has multifunctions on it, like YouTube, Netflix.
Because someone in the live chat just said that smart TV is watching us.
It's a joke about the NSA, probably, and all that shit.
I worked for the NSA for 9 years. Okay, never mind.
I'm just outside of, what is it, Sugar Grove?
Sugar Grove. Are you in West Virginia?
No, I'm in Virginia, but I'm like 200 miles to the right.
Yeah. Sugar Grove is West Virginia.
I'm right outside of Quantico. Right outside.
Yeah, I was stationed in Fort Meade, Maryland for 9 years, on and off.
Oh. So are you waving hello to our data as it flows by?
Yeah, you know what?
I don't have a top secret clearance anymore.
Oh.
Me either.
Because I got stripped from me when that woman accused me of, and it backfired because...
But that's different, right? That's different.
No, that woman, I'm sorry, that woman came forward with the fact that she had sexually assaulted me and she admitted to it.
It's still your fault.
And it's still my fault. I got kicked out. So, yeah, it's hashtag me too, bitches.
Yeah.
Now that does illustrate the double standard, but I think that that's a really, like, thank you for like feeling comfortable telling that story. Of course,
that was the most candid I've ever been ever. So yeah,
the worst thing that can come of this is that anyone's experience gets cheapened. Obviously, I don't want your experience to be cheapened because of what the Me Too movement means. And I feel that a lot of people come out with a story like this or like, sorry, not to take the focus off of you. I totally respect and feel for you what happened to you. As that relates to the conversation we were having, a lot of women are not able, I feel like a lot of women are not able or comfortable coming forward with these sorts of allegations for the most part because they aren't believed for the very least.
Have you ever been sexually assaulted, Lance?
That is irrelevant.
So you're a mind reader. So you're saying you're a mind reader?
No, he's trying to gauge.
I'm trying to fucking paint a picture.
Yeah.
Like, the picture you're painting is bullshit, though.
Then what do you fucking know? Have you been fucking raped?
I'm saying I shouldn't. I'm saying I wouldn't presume. It doesn't matter if you ain't been raped. I'm saying I wouldn't presume that. I haven't been raped. I'm saying I wouldn't presume that, like you're presuming it.
I did not. I was not the one that came forward. It was actually her husband that came forward with rape allegations against me. And then I had to.
And I would believe Jim more than I would somebody who doesn't know anything about it.
No, in the course of defending the rape allegation, I had to explain exactly what happened, which did not leave me in a good light. It left me with me watching DVD number 2 of 2 of a Brian Green fucking string theory video in my living room, and me waking up in my bedroom in sleeping pajamas, and I didn't realize that I was having anal sex with a woman across the parking lot.
Damn.
Yeah. And I had no fucking and if you think you can't have sex when you're blacked out drunk, apparently you can.
Well, yeah.
Because I don't fucking remember, but apparently I did. And you know what? And I've struggled with this, and I've thought maybe she's not telling the truth. Maybe because here, sidebar, he had an affair with a woman prior to this, an emotional affair where he was going to leave her, and she was using me to get back at him. Did I mention that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah, because women say a lot of shit. Women claim a lot of shit.
Did I really go across? Did I really go across that parking lot and have sex with her? Was there a purple dildo involved? Was there anal sex involved? I've thought about this. Trust me, I've racked my brain trying to. I don't know. I can't say yes or no definitively. I have to go with what she said. And fuck, if I got kicked out of the Marine Corps for no goddamn reason, if she's just using me as a fucking pawn to get back at her husband, oh God. I would fucking slash your throat tomorrow, right? Don't you know I would do that?
I wouldn't put it. You can't put it past anybody to do something like that.
If I was 100% sure that she was lying about it, she'd be dead tomorrow. I had no clue.
The point isn't whether or not that person is being truthful or honest. The point is the travesty, the bigger travesty in any victim perpetrator situation where there is a he said, she said, or a narrative on one side versus the actual truth of the matter on the other side is not the bigger tragedy is not a victim potentially not seeing justice wrought. The bigger tragedy that could come about from that situation is an innocent person being unduly subjected to the horrors and tribulations of being kidnapped by the state for a crime they didn't commit is multitudes, orders of magnitude more.
I can't prove that I didn't do it.
No, but what I'm saying is, though, is the reason why we have a presumption of innocence until someone is proven guilty in our criminal
military.
justice.
It's a different type of military justice.
I'm
The
just
UCMJ
right.
is not your normal.
No, exactly. It's not a judicial process. It's non-judicial. It's NJP. That's why it's called NJP.
Well, NJP is like the lesser.
Yeah,
I'm talking This is court-martial offense. This is adultery.
Well, of course, if you don't accept
in the
NJP,
civilian world, adultery is not even a crime. But in military, that shit is fucking.
I'm speaking to I'm just speaking to the general principle of the consequences of shit like #MeToo and listen and believe bullshit.
I actually have an unbelievable story, but I don't know if you guys have the time for it. But it really happened between me and a girl that I was head over heels hot for when I was in. But it's probably going to take about 10 minutes, but if you guys want to hear it, you can hear it.
Yes, I do.
All right. So I've been at the unit for a while. We just got back from Iraq. So this was probably, I want to say October 2003. Yeah, it was October and November 2003. So walking down the motor pool, I see this beautiful blonde, right? But we're not talking about like just a regular blonde. We're talking busty. She's working on a generator, and she's got that sandy blonde hair and the tan skin. Right?
Keep talking. Hold on.
All right. So I see her, and I go strutting by the motor pool, right? And I'm looking over at her. You know, this is me and my BDUs and my beret on and everything. And I look at her, and she looks at me, and she smiles. And I look at her, and I just kind of nod like that. And then I keep walking, right? And I knew pretty much everybody in the unit, small unit. So I go back to my room. I see my roommate, and he's in my squad with me, both commo. And I said, man, there is an unbelievably hot chick that just showed up to the unit. Like, she is amazing hot, right? Like, I got to figure out her name, et cetera, et cetera. So I go to work the next day. And same thing happens right after end of day formation or heading towards end of day formation. I see her again. She looks at me and she smiles, and I look at her and I wink, and I keep walking because I got to get to the basketball court for formation. So I'm like, man, if I get my chance, I'm going to smash on this girl. She is hot, right? So I'm gonna figure everything out I can about her. She's amazing. So I go back to my room, right? Talk to my roommate again. It's my brother, right? Combat buddy. I look at him. I say, man, dude, after this, I'm hanging around the unit. I'm gonna figure out what creepy stalker action activity here, I guess. But I'm gonna figure out what unit she's in at least, because I'd never seen her go or leave formation, so I didn't know. So he goes, all right. And he's smiling at me. Dude's smiling at me the whole time, right? So I'm like, all right. What the hell's your issue? He goes, hey man, I gotta go hang out with Jess, which is his girlfriend at the time. They're married now, but it's his girlfriend at the time. So I need you to go upstairs and tell her to get ready because we're gonna go have Italian. I was like, well, get your lazy ass out, go tell her. He's like, no, dude, I got to hop in the shower. Please, can you do it for me? Come on. All right, no problem. And then he looks at me, he smiles, and he says, you're welcome, and closes the door to the bathroom, the little shared bathroom, right? I'm like, what? What the dude, fucking prick, right? So I'm like, whatever. So I go out the room, down the barracks, go up to the next floor, knock on Jess's door.
Shit, you're about to disclose something you've never disclosed before, I bet.
No, I've disclosed it to the wife, knows it. Some of my friends know it. Family knows it. So I open the door, or I knock on the door, and Jess doesn't answer the door, but the door opens. Guess who it is?
The blonde.
It's the hot blonde, and she's got her BDU top off and these huge tits.
God damn it.
With this tight, the tight tan undershirt, the brown undershirt.
Shit, the Coyote Desert tan.
Yeah, man. So I'm looking at her, and it was great because I'm standing there. I look at her. She looks at me, and I've got a shit-eating grin on my face, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And she looks at me, and she goes, "Not much. What's up with you?" And I was like, I'm here for Jess, right? Oh, okay, yeah, Jess is in here. Come on in. So I walk in, and this chick is like following me around the room, right? So I I look at Jess and I said, "Hey, Dave says he'll be ready in about 5 minutes. I guess you guys are going to the Italian place." And she goes, "Oh, okay." And she gets up hurriedly, and she's like, "You guys have fun." And she walks out and closes the door. So I'm standing there and I'm looking at this girl and she's looking at me, and I looked at her, and this is like probably one of the boldest moves I've done in my life. But I looked at her and I said, "I'm going to kiss you." And she bit her lip and she said, "Okay." So we started making out, dude. Clothes went everywhere, right? I'm at attention. We're getting it done. And for like the next week, we have like this hot fling, right?
Shit.
Smashing the hell out of each other. She's riding around on my Mustang with me on the German Autobahn. We're having a great time. So one night we're going at it, right? And now, believe me, I checked before. Okay, I always look to make sure they're not married. I look down at her hand after we're done having sex. She's got a wedding ring on it. So I looked at her and I said, "What is this?" And then she starts crying, right? And she says, "I'm so sorry. I should have told you before." And I said, "Hey, look, you're hot. You're beautiful. I've been having a great time with you, but I am not ending my career over this shit, right? So you got options. You can divorce him and come be with me, or that's pretty much it, because I'm not putting my career on the line. That's not going to happen." And she's crying.
Give your dick way too much credit, dude. She's not going to divorce him over just
probably not. Probably not. Yeah. But listen, all right. So a couple days go by. One night I come home. She's passed out. Clearly had been drinking against my barracks door. I don't know how the Marine barracks work, but the ones that we have, the two rooms are conjoined by one bathroom.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like that for us too.
You can walk through your roommate's bathroom to get to your room.
If it's not locked, yeah.
Exactly. So I didn't want to deal with her shit. I wanted nothing to do with her because we'd been seen together for the past week. I didn't know she was married. And that was legit my position, right? So I walk down to CQ, which is like Firewatch. I look at him. I say, "Hey, you need to get somebody from her battery down here to get her up off my door. In the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and go through my barracks door, or through my neighbor's barracks door, and cut through." So I did. Knocked on his door. He opened it. "Hey, man, I just need to cut through my bathroom." "Oh, yeah, no problem." Next morning, about 0400 hours, I get a knock at my door. It's a unit chaplain. Okay. "Yes, sir. How can I help you?" "Oh, well, Specialist Ellis, we need you to go ahead and come on down to Alpha Battery's command orderly room. And one of the soldiers had an incident." "Okay. Can you tell me how this involves me, sir?" No, unfortunately, I can't do that." "Okay."
God, my blood is boiling. My hair is crazy.
Your sphincter tight puckers.
Dude, listen to me, man.
I don't know if I can handle this.
My heart, my brain, everything's spinning 1,000 miles an hour. Heart's beating fast. "Okay, sir, do I show up in BDUs, Class A's,
Yeah,
PTs?"
seriously, dress greens,
Right?
what? Yeah.
Yeah. So he says, no, just throw your PTs on. That's a good sign. Okay. It means it's not totally official, right?
Yeah, it means you're going to get beat or something like that. And it's not going to be that big of a deal. Yeah.
Right. So I throw my PTs on and I get my ass as ordered down to the Alpha Battery orderly room. Their first sergeant and commander are standing there with upset looks on their face, with their arms crossed, standing across the orderly room conference table. Okay. So I come in and I sit down towards the end of the table, and of course there she is, and there's another guy. There's another guy in there. He's sitting on the other side, right?
Uh-oh. So
I sit down far away from her, like 6 or 7 seats down, right? And the chaplain looks at me and he goes, no, Specialist Alice, go ahead and sit down next to her.
Oh, man.
So I'm like, what the fuck is going on, right? So I sit down next to her. And that's when the chaplain says, so last night, her name, husband, killed himself because he thought that she was having an affair. This is not a joke. This happened.
God fucking damn it.
So
I thought my story was going to be the coolest of the night, but holy shit.
Listen to me. I've had my brief stint in, my 4 years in was the roller coaster from fucking, dude, the greatest things to the lowest lows.
Thanks for making my story not the coolest story of the night.
No, man. Yours is still pretty fucking hardcore.
It got me kicked out of a good choice retirement.
Yeah, man. But he goes, and she identified you as, and right now, like those words came out of this chaplain's mouth, and I'm going, oh, fuck, here it comes, right? But she identified you as somebody who has been very nice to her in the unit, and has been a source of consolation through trying times, and da-da-da. And the other guy, he wasn't saying shit. Okay, he was just sitting there.
You got off easy then.
Dude. So he goes, so we just wanted you down here to see if you could console her as calm as I could, as methodically, as calm, and as normal as I could.
No one
I put my hand on her and I said, I'm so sorry.
No one had a clue that you were putting your penis in her.
Holy shit, dude. Her and I were smashing for...
Yeah, okay, I still win then.
Dude, yeah. So, yeah. But
that's pretty fucked up, though.
Dude. Oh, it is.
Who was that other guy?
Oh, she was having sex with like 4 other guys.
No, I'm talking about the one that was in the room with you.
Somebody that she was having sex with.
Another dude that she was fucking?
Yeah, her husband.
She was riding the cock carussel, buddy.
Oh, dude, listen to me, man. Yeah. She was hot, man. She was probably... Dude, if you were the hottest man alive, like you're walking around and women like were just throwing their panties at you, you would probably smash as much as you could.
We're going to rename the title of this show Cock Carousel, and you know that, right? Okay.
But yeah, that's just one, man. I just figured you guys would like that. But yeah, that actually happened. And last I saw, she was arrested in Oklahoma in like 2011, and she looks harsh, man. She looks like she's been doing meth or something.
Like I was about to say, like meth harsh?
Yeah, like meth harsh. But I wish her the best, man. I just wish she'd been honest with me from the start. But I mean, Jim's right. I mean, that's how that shit happens in the military.
You said it yourself, dude. If you were somebody that the opposite sex was throwing themselves at, and you knew that the opposite sex was throwing yourselves at them, wouldn't you consider someone who didn't know that or didn't realize that as like kind of naive? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, maybe, but the thing is with the duty day going on, you know, and then coming home, and it's weird. It's like she must have been like on the rare nights we didn't stay in the same room together. She must have been off in some other dude's room.
She was a good juggler.
Oh
she
yeah,
was a good juggler.
Like, just must have had the fucking skills, you know, like. But
pay the bills.
Yeah, it's one of those things where she should have told me from the get-go that she was married, you know?
Yeah.
Well, entire weekend and you didn't notice the wedding ring? Come on.
No, Jim, it wasn't on.
It wasn't a notice thing. Yeah, I bet you she forgot and didn't take it off.
That's
how you noticed
it. About hour 2.
Jim, here's another thing. I don't know how
hour 1,
but in the Army, if you are unmarried, you stay in the barracks.
That's about right.
So she was in the barracks.
Yeah.
So the actual thought was
in the Navy. In the Navy, they call it being a brown bagger.
Yeah.
If you're married,
we call it a barracks rat, but yeah.
Yeah. If you're married and you live out in town, they call you a brown bagger.
We should have talked
But
to
if you're-
Richard about his Coast Guard because he's got some
that
Coast
should've
Guard
come up.
stories. And we got Army, Marine Corps, Navy here. We sort of totally asked him about some Coast Guard shit.
Yeah. But
We'll do it
honestly,
next time.
Coast Guard shit is kind of lame and not
Coast
interesting.
Guard
most of the time.
is Department of Homeland Security. It's not even
during wartime.
During wartime, it's Department
wartime.
of Defense. But in peacetime,
Is it?
During peacetime, it's Department of Homeland Security, right?
I thought it was the other way around.
No, when we go to war, it becomes Department of Defense.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know they have some
I know he has some stories. He's been on some underway ships.
Yeah, but like the only thing that could be interesting in the Coast Guard would be like drug interdictions or something like that.
I guess some of those stories.
The Lance is totally quiet. See, this is one of these moments where we bore everybody else, but no, there is a team in the Coast Guard. I can't remember what they're called. But
my mic was muted for one. Sorry.
Talking about the hammerheads,
like port security and port assaults. I don't remember what the heck they're called.
They're called hammerheads.
Is that what they're called?
Hammerheads. They're the ones that do the drug interdictions on the border.
Yeah, I mean, I just know that they had several teams of them out in the Gulf when we were.
I don't think Carrier was in the hammerheads.
I was about to say he doesn't strike me as
a hammerhead.
or as like any kind of like non-pogue, non-pogue rape. You know what I mean? Like,
that's when he comes on here. And he's like,
if he was a hammerhead, the thing about they say, you know how you can tell a vegetarian, an atheist, or a Marine when he walks into a bar. Don't worry, he'll tell you in the first 5 minutes.
He'll tell you, yeah.
That's how a hammerhead would be.
It would be kind of funny if
he would let you know.
It would be kind of funny if he joined and he was like, "Well, see, the cyclic rate of the MP5 with a 9mm Parabellum is, you know what I mean?"
Usually.
Wait. Cyclic rate of an MP5, okay, would be.
I think it's 900 rounds a minute. I think.
No, 12, I think it's more like 750.
Okay.
No, cyclic rate. Cyclic rate means. No, cyclic rate.
So is that like a 1,200 foot per second or something like that? I don't know.
No,
it's not distance. It's about how many rounds can spit out of the barrel.
No, I get that. I'm just saying.
And a cyclic rate means if you put it on full auto, which an MP4 you can put it on full auto. You can. There are 3 selectors. There's
MP5, yeah.
There's semi. There's 3-round burst, and there's full auto. And if you put it on full auto and you just pull the trigger and just let it go, the barrel is going to, you're going to get a misfire before the cyclic. But okay, so if the cyclic, if you carry it to its full conclusion, I think it's 750 rounds per minute.
Yeah, any of the sub guns weren't my thing, man. I was expert on the M16A2, Mark 19, and the M203. Those were my children.
What weapon were you shooting that had 7.62 rounds?
Nothing 7.62. Not a single thing.
I thought you said 7.62.
No, 7.62 is an M14 thing, though.
No, it's an AK-47.
Oh, okay.
It's not a U.S. weapon.
Well, 7.62 by 39 is
7.62 is a Russian variation.
The only thing I ever remember is from freaking Full Metal Jacket, 7.62 millimeter.
Yeah, that's a 7.62 by 54, and not a 54R. There's a difference. But the 54 is actually essentially a 308 NATO chambering, which we're now.
No U.S. weapons have a 7.62 millimeter.
7.62 by 54, Jim.
Okay, what weapon has a 7.62 millimeter cartridge?
Let's see. Just off the top of my head,
nothing that we carry.
Yes,
actually, that's enemy weapons.
The M240.
M240. Oh God, you're right. God, you're right. An M240 Golf is a 7.62. Wait, is it a 5.56?
No, it's a 7.62. It's a 7.62 by 51.
Okay, we're boring everybody. We're boring 51. Everybody. Yeah. You're right, though.
But yeah, the 7.62 by 51 is actually a 308, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong.
Talk about intersectional feminism. Go.
Oh man, do you believe what intersectional feminism means?
It means that we don't have anything to talk about here.
Well, I don't care, Lance. What's
because you're a fucking.
Because you're a white male.
Oh, that's right. I'm a white male. Clearly,
no,
I
gotta
have
say
no
white
idea.
fucking male.
Oh, that's
Because you're a
right.
fucking white male.
Oh, I've done my research.
I don't know any of these words you're using.
Lance, do you
use
think
words that I understand so that you can bitch at me in words that I care about?
Intersectional feminism means that we don't have a valid opinion.
We have
on
no
anything.
agency, and we should shut our mouths and
We
not
should just
talk
shut
about
up.
anything.
But
Listen, Lance,
that's only the patriarchy
Lance,
that matters. So I need to do something if I care.
Lance,
Right?
Do you agree? Do you agree with cultural appropriation? Like if we were to dress like a Chinese acrobat, or if we were to dress like a samurai, or if we were to put a Native American headdress on, is that racist?
I want to answer yes because I think that's what you're trying to get me to answer.
Yeah.
I also want to answer no because I guess I have fewer reasons to answer no, therefore yes.
Okay, then no. On the flip side of
no,
it,
we're grilling me now. Let's go.
Do you think a brown person, say someone of Indian or African descent, wearing a kilt on Irish fucking festival, Irish
That's
week?
a Scottish thing, not an Irish thing.
Okay, Scottish, whatever. Okay, so let's say an African American wearing a kilt during some Scottish festival, would that be the same cultural appropriation?
Yes.
Would that be not cool?
What if they were quarter Scot? What if they were raised in the Scottish Highlands?
No, don't even add that in. Just say they're
I think it would be
African-American.
cool if they were negative 49% Scottish.
And still
I
partake.
suppose. Okay.
No, you every president from not Nixon, before Nixon, Johnson, from Johnson to now, I don't think Trump's ever worn one. So from Johnson to Obama has worn a Native American headdress during a certain week where you celebrate Native American heritage.
Okay.
It's never been
you just
called,
changed the situation.
No, it's never been called cultural appropriation until that one time in 2013 that Obama, they said, why are you wearing that shit? Get that shit off your head. It's only for Indian chieftains. And
I don't think it was for who did it. I think it was for when it was. I think by that time you'd had these far lefties like going crazy on cultural Marxism and shit like that. So,
but if you were to don a Native American headdress, which is only designed for the chiefs of the tribe, of course, you would consider that maybe cultural appropriation, right? Yes.
Yes. Now but again, you've kind of changed the situation just a hair, and that if for a ceremonial reason, a white or black or non-native was putting on the headdress at the invitation of the natives, I would assume, like, I'm not gonna go into a place with predominantly black people and start trying to sing rap music. Because I don't think it's the right situation for it.
Dark skinned.
Look, I'm just trying to paint a picture. It's the first thing that came to mind. Not dwelling on that. It's the first thing that came to my mind. It's the first thing that came to my mind. Moving on. The point is, in that situation, those people put on the headdress as ideally, in my mind, again, after an invitation from the culture that is a part of. Now, if I were to see a black person in a kilt, I would not think cultural appropriation. I would just think person wearing a kilt. But maybe that's because to me, a kilt is not as loaded as a ceremonial headdress.
Who decides that then?
Who decides what's loaded?
Whoever gets pissed off about it. I mean, like, again, if I was at Oktoberfest,
so it's just all based on feelings.
Why not? I mean, what else do we have? Like, there's not a fucking book that says
evidence, rationality, logic.
Yeah, there's not a book that says that headdresses are okay now, but not okay then. Like, that doesn't exist. But as soon as somebody comes and says, could you not? Then it's really my responsibility to say, you know what? Okay, I will choose not to hurt you because I'm an adult. And, you know, like, Jesus, fuck you though. But, you know, like, I don't know when I'm offending people until they tell me they're offended. And to marginalize them and to say that they don't have the right to be offended, I'm almost done. But to, like, if somebody tells me that I'm offending them, you know, that I don't know that until they tell me. And I feel like a lot of what's going on, I keep getting distracted. I keep getting distracted and going back to a moment that's not quite my point. And so all I can do is apologize and try to behave better in their eyes. Again, the N word, which I won't say now because we're live. Like, my grandparents don't understand that saying that word is bad. They haven't been told, and obviously they're not going to change by now. But you know, it's like, now we don't say that word because our culture knows that word is offensive. So we choose not to use it. And that's why I think that, again, if a bunch of people went to a community of people wearing kilts and said, you're kind of cutting our balls off here, stop wearing kilts all the time, that's our thing, then we would have a better way of reacting or gauging that reaction. Okay, now I'm done. Y'all can go.
Okay, problem number one, you assign way too much authority to somebody when you let their offense steer your behaviors.
Thank you.
I could be offended at about 900 billion things you do. And this is the whole problem with this whole outrage movement.
Bam!
Right? If there's something tangential to it, like, for instance, you use the example of the headdress, right? Or Jim did.
Yep.
Okay.
We shared that.
In about 99% of circumstances, I don't give a shit. Like, even it's very. This is where somebody who's on this movement jumps in and wants to stick their finger in my face. But I don't care what people wear. All right, but I would care about their actions. For instance, if somebody was running down Main Street with a headdress on, you know, saying Indians are all alcoholics or something like that.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Okay.
Sure.
But if somebody just out of a whim, even just the smallest whim, just because they're a free and independent human being, decided they want to put a headdress on,
like for a Halloween costume,
not even that. They don't even really need that purpose. As long as they're not doing it with what's called malum, meaning they're intentionally doing it to hurt somebody else.
For harm, right?
Who gives a shit?
Criminal intent.
But that goes back to the use of the N word. Like, my grandparents don't realize that is a harmful way to behave. Like, they're not doing it with malum. Did I use that correctly? Like,
yeah. I mean,
I have a hard time. I have a hard time understanding how any word or arbitrary phonemes that are uttered by a human being do physical injury to a person, regardless of what's being said.
Well, the way that our brain reacts to physical threats and verbal threats is very similar. Now, granted, a word cannot cause you to bleed, but that doesn't necessarily mean that words cannot cause harm. No, it isn't. Words can still cause harm.
It is the important point. It is the important point, Lance. Because your feelings are hurt doesn't factor into whether or not something should be stifled.
Okay, when your feelings are hurt, this is what I suggest. All right, and I'm so sorry that it comes back to this because I really don't mean to bore the shit out of you, Lance, man. I really don't. All right, but something you learn in the military is thick skin. And you have to have it because the world is full of sharp, pointy
shit. It's a shitty place, and people will fuck with you and make fun of you.
So it is. Hold on. It is actually weakness. Okay. Now I'm not saying that you're overall weak. I'm just saying that it is a weakness that can be exploited if the mere utterance of words, all right, can again steer your behaviors.
Okay. Well, that's fine in the military world. The rest of us live in a place where, you know, that's not so reasonable.
The reason...
No, like 1% of you think that way. The 99% of the rest of the world realize that people are going to make fun of you and fuck with you in your normal everyday life.
The military is 1% of the society.
Okay. Yeah,
well, all I'm saying is, yes, you were taught that in the military, and I respect that. I mean, I get that people who are in the military are harder than people who aren't in the military because obviously you guys and gals do shit that is beyond what a human wants to do. And that's cool. And that puts your brain in a different thought process.
It only makes us acutely aware of those things. It's not out of character. It's not out of character for human beings to behave that way.
Yeah,
like you're insinuating.
Regardless, what I'm
TJ never saw blood and guts like Jason and I did.
No, but I understand where you guys are coming from when you talk about that kind of stuff. Though.
I do too.
Yeah, I don't
think all of humanity. I don't think all of humanity needs to like experience that to have a proper worldview. I think that people should be able to be offended, and I think that people who are offended should have a platform to say, "Stop doing that." And the more we try to cut them, the more we try to cut them down by saying, "Okay, so Black Lives Matter." The Black Lives Matter movement happened, and then like a month later, suddenly Blue Lives Matter or All Lives Matter.
But you can't just spout off Black Lives Matter is a great thing without exploring the nuance behind what that actual statement and what that movement is about and what it does.
Okay, that wasn't my point.
What it advocates.
My point was simply that once somebody started to try to communicate that there was a problem with society, suddenly there was a counter movement to neuter their words. And the Black Lives Matter and the Blue Lives Matter, like Blue Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, all of that only served to cut down the message that Black Lives Matter.
No, it didn't
create.
It served as a counterpoint to the bullshit that people that are behind the Black Lives Matter movement are spouting.
Okay, so why did Black Lives Matter not matter?
You know why?
Why did Black Lives Matter?
I'm not saying that the statement that Black Lives Matter is not good because that is a valid statement.
I will.
That's a valid statement.
No, because the premise by which
every life matters.
No, they will not. That's not good enough for them. That's why.
No, it's not. They advocate violence against people.
The only reason
they advocate killing people.
The only reason they say Black Lives Matter is because they indelibly believe that black people
only Black Lives Matter. No,
they believe that they indelibly believe that only blacks are being targeted by law enforcement officials.
Yeah.
If we can say that's not the case, now let's look at the total racism of the American populace. Let's say it's X. Would you say the total racism of law enforcement officials is X plus or X minus?
Well, I mean, I'd like to.
No. Do you think law enforcement officials are more or less or equal in racism than the rest of the general populace?
More.
Why?
Based on what?
So you're saying
because more black people get arrested for marijuana.
No, you're saying no. If you say more than the per capita, more U.S. law enforcement officials are racist than the rest of the population. You're saying there must be some reason for that. It's got to be institutional, right?
No, I'm not saying it's got to be institutional. I think it could be societal. That's a different answer.
Institutional structures of an instituted structures.
I mean, what if I told you? Lance. What if I told you that 6%? Now, this is objective facts. You can't argue with it. 6% of the American population
are in jail.
No, 30. I'm saying 6% of America is a black male. Of that 6%, they commit 35% of the violent crimes. Is that a racist statement?
That is not a racist statement.
Okay. Is there a reason why law enforcement would not be targeting those 35%, almost half of all the violent crimes in America?
I would just like to point out the distinction of the fact that
racism.
Okay. That's, you know what? Let me just go ahead and say yes. Because these stats seem to be true, that
seem to be, or they are.
Look, I don't want to speak to their validity. I'm just speaking as if they are true. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, sure.
That
for the sake of argument.
Just to move things forward.
Yep.
Like I'm not gonna be like if I said, oh yeah, 6% of black people commit 35% of the crimes, then it's
6% of the population commits 35% of the violent crime, and those 6% are blacks.
I would like to investigate that particular statistic based against purely economic factors. How, like, if you strip race out of the question, is it also true that the poorest 6% of our populations commit 35% of the crimes? I don't know if this is true or not.
Now you're
just saying
on income, which is a very valid thing to do.
That's what I'm saying. Like this there might be
that's my original point. It's not skin color. It is income level.
Right. And Jim, something you got to also realize too is you're talking about income, right?
Income level is everything. If you hang it on income, if you're below what's the $12,000 a year poverty rate, you're going to be way more apt to be desperate and commit crimes to your family.
Yeah.
I can get on board with that. So then why, pray tell, are African countries the most impoverished countries on the face of the planet? Homogeneously white countries are the most wealthy on the planet. You get the Congo, which is the rape capital of the world.
Yep,
seems to correlate between those two demographics.
Because of skin color.
But is it? You think it's because of the evil white people colonizing the black man?
I sure don't. Do you want to hear the answer? It's because of Jared Diamond and Guns, Germs, and Steel. Read the book. Everyone look.
That was a fiction novel though. That was a fiction novel though.
No, that is fucking dude. Do not even piss me off right now because Guns, Germs, and Steel is a fucking fact-based book, and
it was based on some of the things that he took away.
No, the closer you are to the equator, the less chance you have of storing your food, and this is where it all comes down to. If you can't store your food, look north of the equator. Look at the Indus Valley. Look at the what was it, Iraq? The Tigris Euphrates.
How do you explain?
Listen.
How do you explain Asians?
They're north of the equator. They can store these civilizations can store their food. Let's say you have 100 people in your society. If you can store your food, it only takes 2 people to store the food. You have 98 people that can do philosophy, science, you can go crazy. If you are near the equator, it takes 95 out of the 100 people to keep the food fresh.
Okay. So what about the people?
There's no way to store food.
What about the people at the extremes of the poles?
You only have 2 to 4% of the population that can do science, literature, poetry.
So you're telling me that people that are close to the equator have less chance of cultivating food than people living near the Arctic Circle?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Bullshit. You have just as much of a hardship creating and cultivating, or growing and cultivating food.
All right, TJ,
at the extremes of the planet as you do at the center of the planet, right?
Okay,
that would only make sense.
All right,
wouldn't
TJ,
it?
You and I both have to feed 100 people. I live in Iran. You live in Ghana. You have to.
What? No. Let's be legitimately fair to my side of the argument. Say you live in sub-Saharan Africa, which is close to the equator, and I live in Greenland, close to the Arctic Circle.
Okay. Well, let's just look at that.
I would have to devote probably the same amount of people to cultivating and growing food as you would.
I got you, bitch. This argument is over. Okay, so you're in Greenland, and I'm in
where you can barely grow any food, where barely anything grows. Right,
but whatever grows can be stored there.
Well, I just want to point out that
the same thing it can be true where it's warmer.
You can't store guava and banana. You can store wheat and barley and grain and rice.
I just want to point out that
Jared
Greenland has
Diamond
a population of 56,000 people, and Africa has a population of 1.2 billion.
It doesn't matter. You can't, if you can't store the food and you don't have a
You can't grow, what I'm saying is you can't grow the food in Greenland. Greenland doesn't have arable land. You can barely grow anything. So they the point of that it's offset by not being able to store it.
That's a non sequitur.
The fact that they can grow a lot more.
That's kind of a non sequitur because what has Greenland ever given to society? Let's go with Greece. Can we go with Greece or in India or fucking Iran or China?
But wait, I think we've kind of derailed pretty significantly.
No, I'm saying if you
the core idea that
food is perishable at the equator. That while I'm saying is food is perishable at the equator, it takes more people to keep the people alive. Therefore, there's less people to do the science and the literature and the art and the music.
Okay, so what you're saying is that since you're not, I'm asking you what I'm trying to clarify. I'm trying not to straw man your argument here.
You kind of are.
No, I'm asking like legit questions. So I'm asking. So since you can't store food at certain latitudes,
well, you couldn't before. Now you can because of globalization.
No, I get that. We have refrigeration now, and that's a different thing. So I'll give you that. You're saying that since at different latitudes in the pre-refrigeration era of humanity, that warrants saying that civilizations that developed along those lines of latitude have carte blanche to be less sophisticated as human beings than the rest of the world.
Yes.
That is an utter freaking monstrosity of a worldview.
Name one first world industrialized country that's even close to the equator. Go.
Do what now?
Name one industrialized first world country that's even close to the equator.
No. You're talking about pre-refrigeration.
I'm talking right now.
Right?
I'm talking right now. Name one first.
I'm talking about the whole of Asia, like China, Thailand.
They're north of the equator.
These people do not have. No, I'm talking about Southeast Asia, Vietnam. Saigon
and guava and coconut. You can't.
You're telling me there isn't a. You're telling me there isn't an Asian society, that's near the equator that developed in a more sophisticated fashion than other people at that latitude.
Name an Asian society that's near the equator. Maybe Micronesia or Indonesia.
Asia is not 100%. Above the equator.
They're closer.
We're talking about the whole entire continent of Africa.
Vietnam is on the same
latitude. It's not all on the equator.
Vietnam is on the same latitude.
So how many degrees? How many degrees north and south? How many degrees north and south are we allowed?
20. At least 20.
So in one, so 10 in each direction, then, right?
20 in each direction.
20 degrees north or south in each
direction. Let's go with that for now.
That's a lot, dude. There's a lot of Asia that falls in that fucking range.
Name one that's within 20 degrees of the equator.
You don't understand that Asia is on the fucking equator?
No, they're not. They're way north.
Asia is a big continent, dude.
Vietnam's on
India is included in Asia.
Vietnam's on the same latitude as Louisiana, and guess what? They both
Indians
grow?
are doing
fucking
awesome.
rice.
A lot of Indians are doing awesome.
Guess what they grow? They grow fucking rice. They grow tons of rice.
So then it doesn't have anything to do with latitude. It doesn't have anything to do with latitude then. You just admitted it.
No, I didn't, because they're on the same latitude as fucking what? Louisiana, who grows what?
All you said.
Staple is fucking rice.
But look, Jim, I'm saying all you said is that if you're at this latitude, you can't do X, Y, and Z. That's why you can't get science and philosophy.
Singapore, by the way,
if there's only
Singapore.
Okay, Singapore.
Okay,
Where's
there's
Singapore?
Singapore.
What's their excuse then? What's your excuse
Yeah,
for
they're
not being
first
as
world
developed
domination.
as?
Singapore is.
We're not saying that of first world domination. We're talking about, hey, just don't be the rape capital of the world. Like, don't starve to death. You know what I'm saying? Like,
when you become first world, listen. When you become first world, all the good parts of first world tends to follow.
Hello, Event Horizon.
Listen, when you become a first world country, all the benefits of being a first world country tend to follow, like women's equality and fucking women being able to vote and no slavery and fucking see now.
So then you have nothing but Western culture to blame for thank for those things.
The closer you are to the equator, you can't store food, and it takes more of your population in your society to be able to do the food handling.
So then, whatever the impetus
and there's less
was
people
for
to
those
do
things,
this,
okay,
to do the government and the politics and the fucking and the fucking monetary and the banks and
I see. Yes, I get all that. So I get all that, but so then, in no uncertain terms, the impetus was, regardless of what what allowed it, was that it was Western culture that drove all of this.
Only because we're way north of the equator.
So what?
Well,
we got lucky, right?
Yep, we got damn lucky.
So, and that luck translated into us being the most powerful, way to organize society about.
Well, with gunboat diplomacy prior to World War II, yeah, sure.
I'm sorry, dude. Every culture has tried to fucking colonize or imperialize every other fucking culture
who dug the Panama Canal?
Ever.
Who dug the Panama Canal? It wasn't Panamanians. We fucking did that shit.
It was Westerners.
We made everything happen. It was Banana Republic. We not only were we big enough to control ourselves, we controlled all those other countries close to the equator that only could grow bananas that rotted and had no way of storing them. And we fucking ruled shit.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that a lot of other people are jealous that we did it better than anybody else ever has.
But we were in a position.
That's what they're mad about.
If anyone else was here, they could have done it too.
Yeah, they would have done it if
geographically right place.
And you think it was like if you would have transplanted those people and switched the places, switched their places with us, they would have done the exact same fucking thing, dude.
Yep, they would have.
That's what I'm saying.
They totally would have. If you took us and gone and flipped us, we would be the ones living off of bananas
and that's what I'm saying. This whole narrative of the fucking white people, the white people being the fucking thugs and criminals of the fucking world.
It just so happens that the people that took over were white,
dude.
No, it just so happens that the people that took over this part of the latitude were white. It just
exactly because it could have been somebody with a bunch more melanin in their skin than it was.
Totally
than
and
us.
Apparently, according to your thought process, if it were, there'd be a lot more crime. Because you just pointed out that the
didn't even say that
because it's not a function of skin color; it's a function of income.
In fact, I've said the exact opposite of what you're trying to insinuate right now.
About 15 minutes ago, I thought you were trying to make the point that the Congo had an extremely high crime and violence rate, or some other place in Africa, and that's what got Jim on the topic of they couldn't store their food. They needed to resort to these behaviors to guarantee their lifestyle. So
all I was commenting on was
that you're being genuine in this conversation.
Somebody in chat is claiming to be an 18 series, so not trying to derail.
18 what?
18 series, which is special forces in the Army.
That woman? Is that
Ralph
Schumacher?
No, Ralph Ellis.
That's Jason.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh my God! I just need to.
It's not like what he's saying.
Army guys.
They're quite professionals.
The only one talking besides you, Jason, is a Klaus Schumacher.
No, there's a Event Horizon.
Yeah, Event Horizon.
Oh, okay, I see him.
Regardless,
Event Horizon. Do you want to come in and talk about your MOS?
It could be. It's so obscure.
Let's
extremely
obscure. Professional. Or
That
she.
would be like me claiming to be a SEAL.
Yeah. No,
That's all I'm saying.
I gotcha.
Let's hold his feet to the fire. He might be
He
legit.
could be. Yeah, I've run into a few of them. Actually, ran into a couple of them at the Rocket Club and
Yeah, I'm going to. This is called the invite. Here, click that link that I just hit, and come in here and tell me about your. Not that I don't think you're full of shit, but
It's an up in the air thing. I find most of the guys that I run into online, you know.
There's a lot of 18 series motherfuckers out there, huh?
saying.
There's a lot of those motherfuckers out there.
Oh, really? You served with Chris Kyle? Well, man, that's
Chris Kyle.
Yeah.
Guess where he went to high school? Right where I'm standing.
Midlothian?
Yep.
I should say for Special Forces, I should say Command Sergeant Major Vining.
Guess who killed him?
Sergeant Major Vining, huh?
Guess who killed Chris Kyle?
Friendly fire.
Yeah, it was a Marine, wasn't it?
It was another Marine.
It was like another Marine. He was Navy.
He was Navy SEAL.
Or was it a SEAL? Yeah.
No, Chris Kyle was the SEAL, but guess who was a Marine that killed him?
That wouldn't necessarily be a point of pride for me. If I was that
bragging about it, I'm just saying.
If I was that dude, I'd be like,
I'm just saying when Marines want to kill somebody, they get the job done. That's all I'm saying.
It was an accident, though.
No, it wasn't.
Wasn't it?
No, it was.
He went in the Porta-John. He fucking he loaded his M4 and he came out and he shot him in the head.
Oh, damn. Well, that's not getting her done. That's point blank, man.
Still.
Fucking skin's crawling now. I really hate blue on blue, and I hate when we fuck over brothers
green
and
and green.
sisters. I don't like that.
Blue and blue is cops. Green and green is military, but yeah.
No, we said in the Army it's blue on blue.
Oh, we call it green and green.
It's interesting.
Like Blue Force Tracker. We call it Blue Force Tracker, but when there's green forces, we don't. Yeah, that's weird because we call it Blue Force Tracker, but we don't track blue forces.
Yeah,
we actually track green forces.
We actually shot down a British tornado.
Do you know in the Marine Corps we can't call a black guy black? We have to call him dark green, and we're light green.
Okay.
Did you know that?
Didn't know that.
There's no racism. There's like either light green when you're describing, like if you're saying, hey, that other Marine that's going to show up, I don't know his name. He's light green or dark green. You can't say black or white in the Marine Corps. It's a weird thing.
Interesting.
Oh, wait, that's akin to saying I don't see color. Where's Lance on this one?
Yeah, no, man.
I got distracted. Yeah. I mean, on one hand, people got to go sometimes, but on the other hand, I don't know if that's the right way to do it. Is that about the right way to carry on this conversation?
Oh, I don't know.
What's all that in your background? What's all that behind you? Did you go to Texas A&M?
And my shit? Oh, yeah. This is
Texas Tech? Texas Tech.
Texas Tech. That's
is this
the
your house or
coconut
your
board.
parents' house?
It's my house, you fucking tard.
I'm
I'm sorry. That's me.
You're fucked.
I've been drinking. You can see my keyboard here.
That's the kind of information that's pivotal there, Event
You
Horizon.
went to Texas Tech?
Yeah, I went to Texas Tech.
You'd be surprised how many 18 series, quote unquote, I run into online. So sorry for the initial doubt, but that makes a lot more sense. Starting out as an 11 hotel.
This is the first time I've ever heard of what 18 series means. Is that
18
some
series
sort of
in the Army is Special Forces, exclusively Special Forces.
Green Berets?
Yeah.
Yes, Green Berets.
I've never
you
heard
Army
18 series.
Marines. All the Army and Marine motherfuckers are all about numbers. Oh, I was a 747 and I qualified for 1384, 554, 52, 64, 82, 1974, 54, 56, 69, motherfucker.
No, that's an Army. That's not.
And in the Navy, we're just like, that's your, We're all about acronyms.
That's why I
letters in the Navy.
I fucking can't stand that shit.
When we were recording today, and that old guy walked in and ate some of my vegetarian meatballs. Did you see that guy?
Yeah, I was talking to Arya about that guy.
Do you remember that guy?
Randall?
That was weird. Yeah.
His name's Bill. He's 74 years old.
Oh, Bill.
Guess what he was? He
was a
had
paratrooper, wasn't he?
Vietnam hat.
No, he
thought he was a paratrooper.
He has memory problems, so I'm surprised he even remember where I live, but do you know what he was? He before seals were seals, he was a frog man.
UDT.
Yep.
Underwater demolition, yeah.
He was UDT. He was in one of the original fucking frogmen. He still walks 5 miles a day.
Is it just me,
I
or
was
is it?
proud of that. That was fun.
Is it? I'm not talking about Bill, but like just in general, I feel like when I've listened to a lot of old people talk about stuff, it seems like they embellish and like make up a lot of shit when they're talking about shit from their youth and stuff.
That phenomenon is called being a storyteller.
You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm talking about, right? Like you're listening to some old guy and it's just like, are you sure, Grandpa? Are you sure you freaking took all the Nazis on by you lonesome on Omaha Beach or something? You know,
I doubt it is safe to doubt the claim to have extensive action because, like, for instance, like the majority of the time in Iraq, I can tell you, and this is where people will be like,
Jason,
oh yeah,
hey, shut up. Jason is no shit. From what I've heard, he doesn't.
He's not an old guy, though. No, I don't think that kind of applies to him, though.
A guy like that could walk into a VFW and just say one sentence, and people would sometimes
believe what he said. Yeah.
Sometimes just know you're legit. If you were in Iraq in anywhere between 2003 and 2004, okay, automatically you saw shit. I didn't get there in 2006.
For the most part, yeah. A lot. My unit actually had it a lot easier than most. So don't. I wasn't with Third ID.
You were there in 2003. You saw. Did you see dead bodies?
Dude, entrails everywhere. That's the only way I can put it.
Entrails.
See friends and foes take rounds.
Yeah.
Then see. That's all you have to say.
But what I was getting at is the majority of the regular line guys like me, I was commo in a combat arms unit. We spent time stirring shit, maintaining comms, making sure the weapons were online, just shit like that. I mean,
I was the most pogue job there was in 2006, and I still got mortared literally every other day. I've seen Marines come in and pulled charred bodies out of Humvees. I've seen my fellow Marines playing soccer with Iraqi heads. So,
Holy shit!
Yes, dude. I'm not
release the prisoners.
I'm not fucking around. They played soccer with an Iraqi head. I saw it with my own eyes.
Yeah, I could never do something like that.
There's some fucked up people, but you know what? At the time, I'm thinking, hey, I hope. Who's going to score the next goal? I'm not even thinking they got a goddamn Iraqi head they're playing with.
I know at the time that I was there from 03 to 04, I know there were advanced, I think they were called fast teams. Was it forward area?
Fast line.
Yeah, but they they were either, I guess, Marine Recon or Special Forces. They were
MARSOC.
They were across
well, they're called MARSOC now. They used to be Force Recon, but now they're called MARSOC.
They used to go across. I guess they went across the DMZ, and they would set up in hides to monitor enemy movements, to be prepared to secure some of the oil fields. And then I know up north, they had some serious activity. They were trying to bring the Kurds online.
Kirkuk.
Yeah.
We were Western Iraq in Al Anbar, but the farthest north I got was Sinjar Mountain, and we set up a hide site in Sinjar, which is Iron Mountain. I don't know the Iraqi term for it. There's an Arabic term for Iron Mountain. It's all something.
Oh, yeah? Well, I saw a whole shitload of APX-76 transponders with severe liquid ingress come in.
Man, we got a fucking badass right here.
Right here, boy. I'm just kidding. I was such a pogue, dude.
It's all important, dude.
I was in the rear with the gear, buddy.
Hey, listen, man. You call for tomahawks? I don't give a shit how pogue you are, man.
Here's the deal, Jason.
No ground support without air support, bitch.
What rank were you at the time?
PFC.
You were an E2. I was an E8.
No. So Army PFC is E3.
Okay, you were an E3.
PFC is E3 in Army, yeah.
Okay, I was an E8. So although I didn't see what an E3, a Lance Corporal in the Marine Corps, but I sent a female Marine to Aditha Dam to do vehicle checkpoints. the day I sent her, all right, it was called Operation Lioness. We had to send only our female Marines because Haditha had they were complaining, the people of Hadith were complaining that they didn't want men frisking their women that were coming in and out of
What
the
does
city.
Hadith mean then? Because that's like also one of the translations of their holy book.
No, it's
what does that mean?
It's a I don't know, but it's a.
You don't know what the word,
Hadith,
like the Arabic
no,
word is?
This is Haditha. Hadith is one of.
Oh,
If you're a Sunni, there's 6 hadiths, and if you're Shia, there's 4 hadiths.
What I was wondering though is what that word means. Though
it just means a supplement to the Quran. It's stuff that people who knew Muhammad talked about Muhammad, and they added it to the Quran. It's that kind of.
It's like an interpolation or interpretation or whatever. Or something
it's an addition to the Quran.
In addition to the recitation.
All we had was objective names.
But there's a city called Haditha, and there's a big giant dam there. It's a hydroelectric dam. And we sent Marines there to monitor any activity in and out of the city, right? And we had to send females, and it was Operation Lioness. And the females, it had to be females because any females that were leaving and coming in, there was a bunch of bullshit with the males in Haditha saying we don't want our females getting searched by U.S. men. If you're going to search us, do it by women. So I had to send my females, and there was this one chick that kept fucking hounding me, and I finally gave in. And I turned her down the first time, and she got pissed, and so I let her go the next time. No, I let her go. The next day, her and an army. Jason, an army sergeant major were doing the mirrors under the fucking vehicle.
Yep. Yeah.
Were they? Was it threat level like Charlie or something like that at the time or some shit?
Boom. Next day, gone. Yeah. Blown. She's done. How did
you guys do it on your
day? The day after I sent her, I lost her.
We're probably killing Lance here, but at least the stories are hopefully mildly interesting.
It's not that bad.
And if you don't think that haunts me, to this day, thinking that I was the one, I killed her. I basically killed her.
It shouldn't though, because the duty has to be done. And I mean, reality is it's what you signed up to do. You know, like
vehicle born.
Everybody knows what they're getting into when they sign on that dotted line, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was so cliche, but it's true.
You ever heard of a VBID?
Yeah, VBID. Yeah.
Vehicle borne improvised explosive device.
Yep.
Her and an Army E9. Boom. Next day. Done.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big blow for an E9 to get taken out like that.
They were doing a lot of that shit.
I could list if I listed my top 100 regrets from most severe.
Damn. You have 100 regrets in your life?
I have more than 100, but if I listed the top 100 regrets of my life, and I just told you number 91 through 100, if those are the only ones I told you,
and those are like the least, least egregious or whatever.
If I told you just 91 through 100, your jaw would drop, and you would say, "Why haven't you killed yourself yet?"
Damn, that means 1 through 10 have got to be some real doozies, right? So why the fuck haven't you, dude? I'm just kidding.
And yeah, Roger.
That seems pretty hardcore, though, dude. Shit.
I'm not even.
You're saying like the least egregious of my regrets in my life. If I just told you like the last 10% of my least egregious events in my life, you would be questioning why I haven't taken my fucking self out yet, right? That's pretty fucking hardcore. That's fucked up.
Sounds like it.
Fucked up, dude.
But see, there's 3 reasons why I will not snuff it. A, if I do, my wife loses out on $5,000 a month on disability and retirement. B, my oldest daughter loses my oldest daughter loses out on the $60,000 GI Bill that she's getting for college. And C, and I think most important,
for her. Sorry, not the.
Yeah, C, most importantly, is that, and I forgot.
It's all good. Don't do it, man.
You don't have a last one. That's proof positive right
You
there.
don't need them anyways. You know, I mean, just take
I
care
forgot
of your
the most important one.
Because TJ and I couldn't carry this show.
I don't know. I think we could argue about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but
I
it
totally
wasn't
forgot the most important one. Anyway,
There's like probably no end of things we could argue about, Lance.
right. Just, but that's. I mean, that is pretty heavy though, Jim. I mean, that's
$2.99 is entirely too much for a number one.
It is. It's a kind of burden of command thing, but it is what it is. And the thing is the job has to be done. People have to be delegated to do the task. You know, and you never know what's going to happen.
Are you saying it has like 90% of the things that you regret have to do with stuff that you did got up to in the military? Is that what you're saying? Or is Jason correct? Is what I'm actually asking. I think. Jim?
oh, you're talking to me?
yeah. I was gonna say,
I was reading the chat.
Well, he said Jason made a point of hey, but you can't really think about it like that because you have to do what you got to do, and that's part of what you signed up for. And,
I remember number three. I remember number three, and the most important is I want
a reason to live.
Yeah, number three is I want to see what tomorrow brings. Meaning,
that should be number one, in my opinion.
Well, I said number three, and most important is I want to see what tomorrow brings. Meaning, even if I just deprive my wife of all that money and I deprive my daughter of all that GI Bill college money, I still want to see what tomorrow. I want to see what tomorrow looks like. And you know what? 10 years from now, if I don't snuff it, there might be the AI singularity, which I know is going to come in our lifetime.
I hope so.
It's totally fucking going to come in our lifetime.
What's gonna what? What's gonna
the AI singularity is going to come in the next
AI singularity.
It's going to come in the next 5 to 10 years.
Like a no return point.
I think that's
AI works.
It's totally.
You mean the event horizon, the AI event horizon,
the singularity? Yes, it's going to come in the next 5 to 10 years. Everyone's saying it, and I want to see what that happens because forget us colonizing Mars. We are not going to colonize Mars. Guess who's going to colonize Mars? Fucking robotics.
Yeah,
robots.
I think so.
Something that not the drones, not the rovers. Something that is something that's sentient and has feelings and can talk and think and send messages and is not affected by gamma radiation and doesn't have to eat food and and can only live off sunlight. Fucking that's what's going to colonize this.
Hey, so you've got me thinking about a really interesting question then to ask all you guys.
I want to see all
which do you think happens first? Because we know that if we have a future beyond this planet, that we have to get off of it somehow and go somewhere else, right?
The next 2 billion years,
we have to. I think before then we'll have to get off of it.
No, 2 billion. That's if the asteroids don't hit.
Yeah, I was about to say asteroids. I think will take us out way before that.
Besides asteroids, we have to get off in 2 billion years.
At least, at the very least, right? Because of the sun. Yes, our sun will exhaust its fuel of
it's going to burn up the oceans.
Hydrogen, right? The sun will burn off all its hydrogen and will be in a helium.
Titan, Europa.
Oh, okay. So you think it's within the solar system? You think it'll be within the solar system?
We got to start with Titan and Europa.
So let me putting aside. So let me ask this though. Putting aside, let's put out of our mind any option within the solar system, right? Let's resign ourselves to.
Let's start with Titan.
Let's resign ourselves to the fact that we know it has to be interstellar, right? We have to go interstellar at some point.
Then it has to be AI because we can't do it. We're made of meat.
Here's my question. What do you think it'll be out of these two choices? Generational ships like arcs or faster than light travel?
Neither. It will be a combination of way slower than light travel.
So you think it'll be more likely to be generational arc type ships?
It will be an ion propulsion, which is about 1/10 of the speed of light, and it will take about 200,000 years to get to Andromeda, and it will be not carbon-based life forms. It will be AI.
Well, we can't even go to Andromeda though.
Yeah, we can't. AI can.
Yeah.
AI will.
No, what I'm saying though is that Andromeda is due to collide with the Milky Way. You know that, right?
Oh, good. Then
Yes.
it's getting closer.
Andromeda.
We're converging.
Andromeda. We're going to convert. We're going to meld.
You know what happens when they converge? You know what happens
everything,
when we?
Yes, everything
You
is
know
going
what
to be
happens
destroyed.
when Andromeda? No, it won't. Fuck that. Do you know
Fuck
what?
yeah, it will.
Do you know how much space is in between each star?
This is
We're
so
in-
turned into a non sequitur nerd
Hey.
discussion.
Yeah,
No.
but we're on the outer.
Okay.
We're on the outer edge.
PJ, watch me. This is Milky Way. This is Andromeda. Here's what's going to happen. Nothing. They're never going to touch. They're just going to do this.
No,
Because there's so much. No, there's so much space between stars. If you just point a point in space and shot an arrow, you will never hit stuff.
Yeah, but I think the problem there is
The
gravity.
problem.
The star shoot is straight
Yeah.
up.
Not only that, the problem is that okay, we're in the we're on the outskirts of our.
We're on the edge of
galaxy.
the Orion arm of the Milky Way.
Right, exactly. The problem is that like the thing that's going to happen when these two galaxies merge is that a lot of the outlying arms or the outlying star systems of these two galaxies are going to be flung into open space.
Some will.
Some will.
The chances of
And we
us-
have a good chance of that happening
chances
to
of
our
the
neck of
Milky
the
Way
woods.
are
A
tiny
good
little.
chance.
No, not a good chance.
A great a great
a
chance.
very small chance. And it doesn't matter because by then we will have gone on. We will find.
Yeah, we're
somewhere to
gonna go somewhere else. Yeah, I
Listen.
mean we have to get out of here.
Carbon based has no chance of going anywhere. When the singularity hits, which is going to be in our lifetime,
Right.
I got 30 good solid years left, and I know it's going to happen in my
Well,
lifetime.
how about I one of the things I've always kind of like my pet like theories has always been okay. So on the periodic table of elements, carbon falls in the column of elements where there are 4 valence electrons in the outer orbit of those molecules or those atoms, right?
Yep.
So what's to say that a life form couldn't be based on something else in that column, say like silicone?
Carl
You know what I'm
Sagan's
saying?
already proposed this.
Right, exactly. That's what I kind of like see the
It's
point.
hypothetical. It's hypothetical. We're talking about actually fucking
Yeah,
Elon
I
Musk.
know
and we're
that,
talking
but
Sam Harris. It's
Like,
going.
and all of this is hypothetical, dude. We're talking about like
No, it's
going
not.
to
Not
different.
anymore.
We're going
Not
to
anymore,
different
it's not.
solar systems.
No,
and
it's
shit.
not. You say it's hypothetical. It's going to fucking happen.
If we don't
in the
kill, if we
next
don't
5
blow ourselves up before then,
Okay,
right? Like
it's,
if we
it's 2018. What's 5 years from now? 2022?
23.
23. Okay. By 23.
Where'd you learn any math?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope to God you're not the one sending us.
I'm so glad you're not a
It's-
physicist, dude.
It's Marine Corps math. No. In 2023, if we ever have this conversation again and there's no AI singularity, then you can laugh at me. But I know it's going to happen before then.
No, I never said that wasn't a possibility or that wasn't like where
They're
we're
going
headed.
as
I
soon
know that.
as AI becomes AGI, not AI, AGI, artificial general intelligence, not the ones that can just
Or-
play chess and beat a chess player, the ones that can do fucking everything.
Think and
The
feel
ones
and
that-
all that kind of shit.
Yeah, feel
Yeah.
emotions and can create shit and can reproduce themselves.
Actually
Yeah.
program
Going to
something.
Ooh.
new.
Happen, and they're going to send off some shit to space because they know this place ain't right.
So do you think that that would be a harbinger of the end of humanity as we know it then?
May not be.
Or-
We could sit here and live out another few thousand years, and they've already gone. It doesn't mean that we're done. It just means they've gone on and they've done bigger and better things.
Do you think there's an avenue for people to just, let's say, achieve some sense of immortality through artificial intelligence?
No such thing as immortality.
No, not in the physical sense, but say
Yeah.
in the intellectual sense. Do you think there'd be a point where we could actually, like, our personalities and what it is that makes us up as human beings?
Can
as
your
thinking
can your
creatures?
laptop store its memory longer than you can live?
Only in the sense that at a certain point there is not enough memory to encapsulate everything that is in my brain.
Yeah, but
So-
if your laptop had the ability to dump all the shit that's not important and just even it's limited, just your laptop's capability, can it keep the important shit longer than you are alive?
It could, in theory. Essentially, it could.
Imagine an artificial general intelligence that has access to the internet and can do interstellar travel and can build and can reproduce. Imagine what it can store and what it can do. We are meat
to answer
sacks.
that.
We are just meat fucking puppets.
So
But we're not just our physiology, though.
Yeah, we are.
I would like to.
We're limited in
I would say we
capability. We're limited in capability
Right.
by our
I
little
yes,
meat,
yes.
carbon-based
We're just,
meat.
Yes,
meat
I get
sack.
that. But what I'm saying, though, is that we have emergent properties. We have a mind that's a product of our brain. Yes, the brain
They will have a
itself
mind
is
too, and they will be just as valid.
No, all I
Well,
wanna
what
know
I'm saying, though, is like,
sorry, I just want to say if this kind of interspatial, what the fuck kind of word did I just make up?
I don't know.
I went 4,000 parsecs in my last year.
Yeah.
It's a
Did
unit of
did you do the Kessel run in less than
Yeah.
4 parsecs? Yeah.
Totally, yeah, nailed it.
I could actually
time, not
explain how that's
distance.
possible, by the way.
Wait, sorry, I just wanted to throw out, sorry, before we go off on tangent, number 20,000, is that no other species has developed the intelligence to come and contact us in all of this time.
That's presumptive.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, I mean,
Not that we can tell because we might be too stupid.
we might
What
be too
is it?
stupid.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Again, just assuming that humans will somehow reach this zenith of technology,
It's going to happen.
It just seems a little bit strange that no other interstellar species has ever reached it.
Gotten there, yeah.
And I mean, that's obviously leaving a pretty big gap that it never bothered
Have
to point
you-
to
Space
us.
is very big. They just haven't come
Well,
this
Lance.
direction yet.
Well, Lance, have you ever listened to any of Neil deGrasse Tyson's lectures or any of his presentations?
No,
you know
I
what I'm
can't say
talking
that I
about,
have. Yeah,
Well,
my boy that I never
He
listened to.
proposes, yeah. Well, he's proposed a lot of interesting like hypotheticals. One of the things that he's talked about before was, okay, so look at how similar we are genetically to chimpanzees, right?
Yeah.
We're totally fucking like so close to them genetically, like really really close. And but you look at the height of intelligence that chimps have attained, right? The things that our like toddlers can do. That's the height of chimpanzee like intelligence, right?
Yeah.
So think about some other possible intelligent species out there.
Yeah.
That's only like just 1% more genetically advanced than we are.
Yeah.
They may look at us and look at our civilization, what we've built, our community, our social structure, and our technology, and say, "Oh, our toddlers come out of daycare writing their Ninth Symphony or whatever, and they look at us and say, and they've concluded just like we have about chimps. Yeah, we've been there. We've gone to their planet. We've seen them in action. There's no intelligent life on this planet.
Yeah, like
looking at us. You know what I mean? Like
Richard Dawkins says that the difference in technology between us and any alien life that could be out there that's intelligent, that has evolved beyond killing each other with
is most likely leaps and bounds ahead of us.
Nuclear weapons. It's let's just say conservatively 2 million years. 2 million years difference. The 2 million years difference between alien technology and us is nothing compared to our technology and an anthill. And when you see an anthill in your front yard, what do you do with it?
Stomp on it.
You put fucking
or
dust.
Pour Amdro on that shit.
You pour seven dust on it. And you don't think a thing of it. You just get rid of it. You don't even give a shit. And to them, that's 200 times more than us not giving a shit about an anthill That's
but
they don't give a
ants,
shit about us.
Yeah, but I think the difference would be though is that ants can't contemplate. We can, and anything much more advanced than us
to them contemplate. We are ants,
and they would be much more enlightened than that. Though I think
we don't contemplate as much to them as ants do to us.
You think? I don't think ants contemplate at all.
Well, that's what he's saying.
To them, we don't contemplate at all. It's even more so
really
us to ants.
Well, that's why he's saying, like, if an alien were to come to visit us, they would essentially look at us like an anthill and
I don't think they would stomp on. I don't think they would.
200 times more than an anthill.
I don't think they would stomp us out, though.
They would not even think. And it wouldn't even be.
What would be crazy, Ralph?
I was just gonna say what would be crazy is if we're actually a pervasive and invasive species that exists in several that exists in several different galaxies, and every time they come across us, the superior species is just like, ugh, oh god, these things again.
Yeah, these fucking things again.
And unless they need to create a super highway bypass through our planet.
Yeah, what is it? Earth mostly harmless. Mostly harmless. Yeah.
Earth Mach 2, and they need to just
occasionally drink lattes and fling poop. Watch out for them.
Yeah.
if you guys. The one viewer that's watching, because there's only 5 viewers and there's 4 of us, which means that German guy is the only one watching right now. But for that guy,
how do you see this?
Schumacher, what's his name? Let me look real quick. There's only one person. Klaus Schumacher is the only one watching us right now.
Du bist Deutsch, Klaus?
Klaus Schumacher and Event Horizon is the only 2 people watching us right now. Mm. But maybe someone later will.
I'm sure somebody will come in this and be like, wow, look at these fucking retards.
All right.
They're still awake. They logged on 2 hours.
What is it you said, Jason? Oh, these guys again.
Yeah. Cruising along in their Space Cruiser 5000. Oh, God, stay away from that planet.
Yeah, so for the people that are watching the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, that we are in the way of a super space bypass, and this Earth has to be... This planet has to be destroyed, but it just so happens that this planet was a computer program that was designed to find the
mice.
by pan-dimensional mice that was designed to find the ultimate question.
Yeah, to formulate the ultimate question. Yeah, exactly.
The ultimate question for the ultimate answer. The answer being 42.
42. But Deep Thought never said that. If you defined a different question, that the answer might be different. She did say that.
No. The answer she only said 42, but
she only said it was 42 because they didn't state what the question should be first.
True.
If it was an actually coherent question, it could have been a different answer.
But if you ever watch Big Bang Theory and you see Sheldon wearing a blue T-shirt with 42 on his chest. That's what it's.
I have a weird theory. I have tons of weird theories that you guys would probably love to hear about, but
about Douglas Adams or other things.
No. About just everything. Consideration. But one thing, what if quantum entanglement is actually something that these other alien races, if they exist, use to poke out and communicate with other sentient beings? Like, for example,
as sort of a code that we're not privy to, or something.
Yeah, exactly. Just consider this. Somewhere right now, there is a particle vibrating in binary somewhere on this planet, but we can't detect it because we're too primitive.
Oh, it's got to be a binary particle. Did you just assume it's gender?
No. Oh, no, I would say they would use
gender.
I wouldn't say they would use binary. They would use probably something much more complex than that.
How about
if they're more complex than us.
How about trinary?
Well, maybe you don't go from binary to trinary. You go from binary to octal to hex. That's the natural progression of code.
Octal to hex. That makes sense.
Okay, in our
because you know why octal is good? You know why I'm not disputing that? Because carbon is an octal, and carbon is the most stable element.
So that goes back to the idea The quantum entanglement has to do with spin or something, right? Like I don't know that much about it.
No.
Quantum entanglement is when you can tie two particles together, then separate them over theoretically limitless distances, and if you wiggle one, the other one wiggles.
It's called weird action at a distance, according to Einstein.
Are you talking about quantum tunneling though?
No, Einstein called it. Einstein called it weird action at a distance. It's where you can do something with this, and it doesn't matter how far away this one is, and it will do it too.
Yeah, but the what that's predicated on, what that whole mechanism is, the theory of that mechanism is built on, is that
quantum tunneling.
Well, it's built on the premise that things can exist in a wave, right? A form of energy or a particle can exist in a wave, and at any point that you measure that wave, it becomes a particle at that point.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. This goes back to like the double slit experiment.
Yeah, it's a wave particle dualism.
It's a wave particle dualism.
That's only with photons, though. That's only with light.
Well, but it does with things other than just visible light as well.
It's only with photons.
But you can do it with X-rays, gamma rays.
I'm not a physicist. I don't.
You can't do it with matter. You can only do it with photons.
It has to be. Yeah, it has to be. Well, it has to be something that you would consider a wave in its normal.
Neutrinos.
Yeah, neutrinos.
Neutrinos. If you were a photon right now, guess how old you'd be?
No, you would be 0.
You would be 0 years old.
0.
Because they do not suffer fucking.
They don't feel a time. Yeah. They don't experience time.
Yeah,
photons do not experience time.
Hey, just real fast, is our next month's guest public knowledge?
Go ahead.
Did you hear what I said? Because I kind of slurred.
No, go ahead. I did hear you. Do you want to go ahead? You can tell the whole 2 people that are watching right now.
Okay, I didn't know if you read that. Because
none now.
Horizon was saying he's a fan of Aaron Ross.
October 27th, is it? Is it a Saturday? Let me check before I fuck up. I know it's a Saturday, so October. It is. Wait, let me look at my calendar. October 27th. The evening of October 27th. The afternoon of October 27th is going to be a pre-recorded discussion with Aaron Ra and 2 other atheists against 3 Christian doctors of apologetics about Jesus and prophesied in the Old Testament. Now, you're not going to see that on October 27th.
Oh, that's right. Damn.
Because I'm going to have to edit it and throw it out later. But that evening is going to be a live show that you will see October 27th with Cult of Dusty. Dusty Smith will be on that night.
He seems really excitable to me, but I have liked some of his content before.
He's a very.
I used to watch him all the time. I haven't seen much of him lately. But,
he a lot of his shows, he just comes on willy-nilly and just says, "Hey, I was robbed by a black guy when I was trying to buy weed." And yeah, so some, you know,
sounds reasonable, guy. Whatever.
No, he really has some. That aside, he has great content.
Yeah, most of the stuff that he has put out,
when he puts out some highly edited, highly scripted information, it's tits, man. It's awesome.
He is excitable though. He's kind of one of those like firebrand type.
He's a firebrand.
Yeah,
firebrand. But
I used to be very vociferous. But I don't know. I kind of think that the way that you guys are doing it might be the right way for the general public. More like a Joe Rogan general kind of let's talk kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
You've noticed. Thank you for noticing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
David Rubin, Joe Rogan. That's the way we're trying to go.
Yeah, I think it's probably a better way to do it. I think in the early days of this thing, I think it was important to have all that fire out there.
Yeah,
and don't get me wrong, David Silverman types and Dusty Smith and Aaron Ra and these firebrands that just want to just breathe fire and get up in their ass. There's something to be said for that, and it shows that hey, we're we're not willing to take any bullshit from you all, and that is a good thing. But I like the Seth Andrews and the Anthony Mandaboscos too that say, hey, whoa, let me hear your side of it. And we're somewhere in between that.
I think it's all necessary.
I think Seth is just kind of like marketing to a specific audience. I don't think he's
Yeah, Seth Andrews?
I don't think he's trying to really be an activist or
I think at this
point,
he's
placating.
He's just entertaining people, which I value.
He has that radio voice, man. I think he just writes that.
With Richard Carrier, did you hear me throwing any softballs? I hit him with some fucking fastballs.
It seems like you were being the hardest on him out of anybody.
Yeah, don't think I'm being a Seth Andrews to him. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, you weren't. And you appeased Courtney by not pushing the envelope too much. So
no, in fact I could have pushed it way more. In fact, Richard was taking everything I was giving him.
No, that's what I actually liked about his candor. The way he was.
Yeah, it's a lot of candor. Yeah.
He just seemed like he was just chill and going with it, man. That was really cool.
Nothing I said was even close to him.
I don't even know if that's the correct terminology. Has a lot of candor. I don't even know if that even makes sense, but.
He spoke openly. He didn't disguise.
You want to have a lot of, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. He did not disguise. He did not try to suppress anything I was saying.
No, I do gotta go to bed here shortly, though.
I'm getting there. My dog's looking at me like, "Motherfucker, are you ever going to bed?"
You guys are crazy.
It's only friggin' 9:17. There, no, it isn't. It's 11:17.
11:17.
It's 23:20 over here, bro.
23:17 right here.
23:17, sir.
I'm looking at 00:17.
Yeah, you're in Virginia still, aren't you?
Yeah.
You guys bought a house out there, didn't you?
Yeah, dude. I love my little house, man. Oh,
it's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I like it. You're flying that national ensign correctly.
Oh yeah.
With the Union on the top left, a lot of people
I'm fairly patriotic.
No, if you fly that outside, you have to have it lit with a certain candle powered light.
Yep.
There's a minimum candle power that you have to have lighting your flag if you fly one outside.
And if it's raining,
there's all sorts.
Really?
If it's raining, you have to have a different national ensign flying. It's a inclement weather flag. Yeah, dude, there's a lot to the flag code.
It's probably like foot candles and something like that.
You probably never did flag detail in the Navy, did you?
No, I did in fucking boot camp. So you know how long ago that was? Like,
this is not just for military. This is for civilians.
That's almost 20 years ago.
You're flying a flag outside, and it's in the rain, and it's not a certain size. You're fucking wrong. If it's not,
dude, I did it in the snow.
Yeah.
If your flag is not lit a certain way, you're fucking wrong.
You know how you
flag is wrong.
You get into your two columns. You're marching right towards the flagpole.
Yeah,
we did that once, and it was like below 10 degrees out, and there was ice all over the sidewalk, and it was on an incline. It was so funny because we were trying to march towards the flag, and everybody just kept kind of treadmilling in place. It was so funny, man.
Oh yeah.
When they add Guam and Puerto Rico to the flag, are you going to change your flag to 52 stars?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
You're going to have to take that down and add a new one.
I don't even think I have an ensign in my abode at all.
I'm very patriotic. I'm not like jingoist or anything. I wouldn't use any of those terms, but
he's going to send you some stickers you can put on there.
America is the worst country that ever arrived on the planet, except for every other country on the planet.
Except for every other country, yeah.
Did you hear what I'm saying?
About democracy or whatever.
America is the worst country that's ever shown its face, except for every other country that's ever shown its face.
Right. We should be like Magrathea or something like that. Just call the fucking yeah, we should call the whole world just like America, right? I think
I've lived in 43 countries. This is the third best country I've ever lived in.
What are the other two you think?
Netherlands and Germany.
You think Germany was better? I didn't think Germany was better.
Germany was number one.
Do you think it would be? Do you think it was good because you were a
minus the Syrian refugees right now, because Angola is fucking things up. Minus Angola fucking things up with the Syrian refugees. Germany is. I drive down the Autobahn. Forget that there's no speed limit. Forget there's no speed limit. Just there's no trash. There's no pollution. You don't see smog.
I mean,
it's not at 150 miles an hour.
No. Oh, dude, I was driving.
No, it's 160 kilometers per hour, which is about 100 miles per hour.
You kind of got to put things in perspective, though, because
if you do see a car broke down the side of the road, it's very rare if you don't see, because you think AAA is cool. You think any of your insurance roadside assistance is cool. They have helicopters coming to help you. It's gone. They will take care of your shit. I mean, I know you're against socialism, but
yeah, I would definitely forego helicopters if I didn't have to pay like.
There's helicopters that come in and pull you out, and they tow your shit off and they fix it. And the next time you jump in your vehicle, it's better than when you got in it the first time.
Yeah, but if I didn't earn that, I wouldn't.
It's Germany. Everyone earns it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everyone earns it.
You didn't earn half the shit you're enjoying.
Free college.
Yeah, I do. I actually do earn the things that I enjoy.
You didn't have
because I pay my taxes.
Germany?
Okay. Now taxes in Germany. You know what kind of taxes they pay?
Like 50-60%, man. 65. It's huge.
65.
Yeah, it's fucking. It's
65% of your paycheck.
It's obscene.
Goes away. You don't see it.
There's a certain amount of the series.
Now, is that obscene? Is that obscene? Because
it is obscene.
Your roads are clean. Your fucking sky is clear.
So what? We have clean roads and clear skies here too.
Really?
Yes.
You're fucking really?
We have look. You're talking. You have to put. Look. You got to put things.
Can you get a doctorate in biochemistry for free here?
You gotta also wonder what the quality of that education is, though, too. In a place where it's given away for free.
Well, no, the Germans are.
Don't even fuck with me on Germany.
Yeah,
Germany beats everything we have.
No, listen. Okay, so I lived there for years. I do not place it number one. I would place it number two, below the U.S. But Jim's right about the cleanliness. There are things to like
roads
and not like. Actually, the Autobahn, the way that they constructed it is far superior to our construction techniques. They use a deeper bed of gravel. They use a thicker base of concrete, and they maintain the shit out of it.
You know, you hear no speed limit.
What's that? What? Like my
only
question
outside
is,
the city limits.
Well, my question.
You know, even though there's no speed. No, even though there's no speed limit outside the city limits, you can go as fast as you want. Guess who has the most traffic fatalities? Us or them?
Okay, us. But let me ask you, Jason.
You go as fast as
I really don't know. So I could be putting my foot in my mouth on this. But was that a state? Was the Autobahn I feel free to set me straight on it, because it could have been something like Nazi Germany came up with, or it was done under Nazi Germany. So National Socialism built the Autobahn, right?
Sort of. Built the initial Autobahn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm asking. That's I actually did really want to know. That's not something I ever knew before. But,
it's a democratic socialism, not a socialism like you and fucking Milo and Ben Shapiro.
No, it's not that kind of socialism. It's the right. It's the right kind of socialism.
No,
right?
Sociologically,
it's a democratic socialism.
Okay,
it's built on the free market economy, though.
There's still thriving capitalism in Germany.
Yes, they're capitalists. They have social safety nets. It's not socialism.
So do we, but theirs is better.
Yes, exactly.
Well, theirs is better funded per capita.
It's better funded, and they're going broke. And they're going broke.
They are? Oh,
they're going broke.
We'll see who goes broke first, us or Germany.
Okay, so here's the thing to know about Germans. Since we're asking, number one, they're extremely punctual. Number two, they have what I would call a dedication to the rest of society. They're not like, they kind of come across sometimes as egotistical, but what it really is they just kind of care about Germany in particular. So they're all about, not the...
They're nationalists. They're very national centric.
One of the other things I have to say too, just for mentioning, and I'll let Jason continue his point, not to interrupt you, sir, but when these socialists talk about how great these Scandinavian socialist governments are,
democratic socialists,
you also have to take into account these are homogeneously white nations.
So who cares what skin color they are?
That doesn't really, I mean, the efficacy is in the type of government, I think, and the fact that
Western, yes,
it could be dark-skinned people.
Western government.
It's north of the equator, and we can store our own food. Do I need to go over this again?
Okay, so
we're done with that, though.
No, we're not. No,
here's the thing.
Scandinavia is way north of the equator. We can store fucking
what I'm
our
saying,
food.
though.
We have all these.
Hold up, guys.
There's what's that?
Jason was talking.
Yeah,
he said not to distract the point.
Sorry.
And then we totally distracted the point.
And I totally distracted the point.
Let's loop back.
But like, now I got to backtrack, and my memory is.
Where are we at? We were at Germans.
Germans are extremely punctual.
Okay, yeah. I guess. Okay, so I was going somewhere with that, I guess.
That was a minute ago.
Yeah, they're dedicated to.
They're not egotistical.
Yeah, they're very they come across as curt when you talk to them. Usually, that was my first thing I noticed.
You drink a beer with them. If you take a liter with them, you're good.
Yeah, pretty much. I think you're pretty good like that in any country. But the thing is I think sociologically the reason they do a lot better is they have a lot of integrity and pride in craftsmanship, which is why, of course, many of the famous luxury car marques come out of Germany.
Stuttgart, southern Germany.
Yeah, yep. but from an American perspective, when you get
Mercedes, BMW,
there could seem to be a lot of pretentiousness, and everything is almost taken seriously to such a degree that it's unbelievable. Like, I went to find skateboard wheels once because I used to skateboard. So, and I spoke fairly conversationally fluent German.
Ich möchte das Putenschnitzel con große Hefeweizen, bitte.
You want a large schnitzel and a beer? A large beer?
Right, I do.
That's right.
Okay. So,
sorry.
I remember going in, and it's crazy because, like, if you go into like a Dick's Sporting Goods or whatever over here, right? I mean, you're basically usually met with somebody who's probably trying to fill the middle of their career with a job so they can go to college or whatever, right? That's not the way it really works in Germany. Almost everything is kind of like what I would call a very serious professional suit and tie affair. So you go into the sporting goods shop, and it's crazy. I was actually met by a woman who was dressed rather nicely, who I actually thought was the manager of the place initially. But she asked me, how can I help you? And I said, I'm looking for skateboard rodsatz, the wheel. Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh, okay, follow me, bitte. I was like, okay. And she was like, do you know which kind of wheel you want? Do you want the polyurethane or ethylene? And I'm just like, holy crap, man. And I know it seems kind of like where I'm going with it is like almost everything that you do over there is so professionally, like, down to a T, right? Like, whether you're a gas station attendant, right? That's kind of like your lot in life.
Yeah, like if you'd have gone into a Dick's here and be like, I want skateboard wheels, some dude would be like, oh, you want the red ones or the blue ones?
Yeah, or, yeah, I think they're over there. You might want to try by the kayaks, that kind of thing.
In Trump America, it's just idiocracy where you say, oh, just put Gatorade on it. It'll grow.
Yeah.
And it's because it has
electrolytes. That's what plants want.
Yeah.
That's what plants crave.
Yeah, Idiocracy is where this country is going. I love that movie.
It's what plants crave. God damn it.
Yeah.
But see, I think that back to your point, I think that has a lot to do with that people can be professional in those roles and feel secure. I'm talking to somebody in the chat. Like I was in Amsterdam a couple years ago, and we were talking to goddamn right. Oh yeah, definitely.
Did you get baked over there?
You know,
talked about
I could only find like smokable stuff, and I didn't feel comfortable smoking it in the rental house I was in.
Yeah.
They didn't have it. Like at the cafes, it's just like, here's some bud, and you can smoke it there. Like you can smoke it in the cafes and then wander around. Like, I mean, Colorado is where you want to go if you want edibles and that kind of shit. Because like they'll sell you exactly what you want, and you'll know exactly according to the label.
So you say Colorado's better than Amsterdam as far as pot goes now?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh God, that's an indictment.
Amsterdam. It's just that. Okay, so what I experienced is in Amsterdam, you go to a cafe and it's like, okay, let's get some coffee and some weed. And then you buy like some weed and they give you some papers and a lighter or whatever. And then you smoke it and wander on your day. In Colorado, you wander into one of those shops and it's like you went into the fucking Apple store of weed. And it's like,
see, we know what things are important, Jason. It may not be skateboard wheels, but we know we love some weed.
Right.
Yeah, well,
full disclosure, last time I got high was with Lance, so he knows what he's talking about.
All that to say,
it was some good shit.
I was trying for some mental.
I was fucking baked.
Back in
I was baked, and it was beautiful.
Have you?
Somebody actually laced what I was smoking with something because I had the trippiest trip that has ever tripped. It was freaking crazy.
You hallucinate
you ain't got to worry about that shit either.
Yeah, like I was scared to try it again, but yeah, my buddy bought some, man, and I remember giggling and laughing, and then I just passed out, and I had this dream where I was in this neon place, and the only thing I can tell you about. No, listen, man, like, the whole world was made of neon, and this is going to sound crazy. It's going to sound like I've never told anybody this, so this is an exclusive.
First heard exclusive.
Right? Actually, the wife knows. My wife knows, but nobody else. Okay, but this is what happened. All right, first, it felt real. It felt like I was there, like I was disembodied, and I was there. Okay, there was a neon brown shoreline with 3 easy chairs on it, neon palm trees, neon grass, neon huts, neon waves crashing in like this most beautiful blue, right? Coming in and just sweeping against the shoreline. And I remember walking up to these 3 girls, and they were all very, very attractive. I mean, it's my dream, right? And I look at them, and it was so crazy because I knew them. Like, even looking back on it, when I could remember their faces, I didn't know them. Like, I just didn't. But I look at them, and one of them looks at me, and she drops her glasses, and she goes, "You're not supposed to be here yet." And then I woke up.
Oh, it was a transcendent experience, dude.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like,
you saw a UFO, man.
I had this, and I was like, dude, now I know what these people mean. But there's no reason. And to me, like, I could see why I would argue, oh, man, it was totally transcendental. I was in a supernatural plane, right? But the reality of it is probably that it was
your brain chemistry was fucking with you,
Exactly.
You
know?
You were in a brain state that was, like, not explainable or something,
Yeah, exactly. Or something in my brain was tickled, and they were intertwined and functioning in a way they weren't supposed to, or...
Yeah.
Who knows?
I want to pull this back to one quick point. When I was in Amsterdam, not on the weed, I was talking to a bike messenger, and he was telling me about vacations he took to like multiple vacations a year. Like a bike messenger was taking multiple vacations a year. Like that's why I think that like you were saying, like a shop in Germany has so much more professional kind of floor employees. Is they don't move on because they're safe, they're comfortable, they have a living wage.
Yeah, it's true. Yep.
Therefore, they are professional.
But here's the thing. Let me tell you.
DJ just died inside.
This is going to sound really retarded to some people, but it's true. We have more protected individual liberties over here.
Yeah,
we do. You know, in most European countries, it's it's really the state first. Okay. Whereas in the U.S., the basis of our law is actually first and foremost individual.
The individual, yeah.
So they can get away with things over there that to us look like just ridiculous.
Yeah, like someone who has the skills of a bike messenger being, justifying that type of a person who has that little skill set being justified in taking multiple vacations.
Well, no.
Somebody who is willing to work at all for the hours that
the willingness to work doesn't factor into it. It's the value you bring.
Because people need to send shit. Like, people need shit cleaned up. They need janitors.
That's not very valuable.
It is extremely valuable because if they
it's not.
It would break down.
Not like when compared to other things that are of value in this workplace.
All right. It's too late to get this conversation started.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
My wife's probably like, get your fat ass in here. And I'm
like, bike messaging is not on par with, say, like, engineering.
No, it isn't. But if somebody
because you have to evaluate things on the value it creates.
Yeah,
not the willingness to do something.
But that doesn't mean somebody who's doing it doesn't deserve a vacation.
They may not.
Why doesn't it?
Because you exist doesn't mean you're entitled to things.
Oh man, I gotta bounce, guys. It's time for me to eat.
Yeah, like I said, that's all right. Thanks. It's far too late to start this conversation. Let's not.
Probably.
Let's all go to bed. I'm actually feeling pretty headachy and exhausted.
I'm feeling pretty 12:30-70 and
oh god.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I gotta get to bed.
Great conversation, though, guys. Lots of.
Good talking to you guys, Jason.
Okay, I'll talk to myself then. Fuck
Lance, even you, yes, Lance.
Fuck you guys.
You're the greatest. You're the greatest to talk to.
Well, fuck all you guys.
We've been at this for 12 hours.
I think Jim's in the sack already, man. Jim looks like he's already in bed.
Fuck you guys.
All right, have a good night, guys.
Later, Jason. Thank you, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
Yep. And there he goes. And then, all right, let's talk about pay gap versus wage gap.
Nope. Bye. Oh wait, did TJ leave?
Wait, did he?
I don't know. It says Dennis, and there's a little globe.
Oh, he must have phased out somehow. He must be playing Fortnite. Or whatever those kids are playing nowadays.
Whatever kids these days are playing.
All right, fuck it.
I'm sorry, I've got a headache.
All right.
I'm blasted. Event Horizon in the chat is still here. Thanks for hanging with us. Oh wait,
that
Event Horizon TJ? No,
who's that? No, there's a German guy in here too. That was
Klaus bounced a while ago.
Klaus.
Yeah, Klaus Schonmeyer. Who's
it's just Event Horizon in here now?
Yeah, it's just Event Horizon. Oh boy.
And he won't come in because I sent the fucking link. Okay. You don't
you still want someone to talk to? Well, I'll try. I'm seeing him in the YouTube
Let's do
chat.
A marathon. You know what? Guess what?
What?
Here's a weird thing. We've been going for almost 2 years now, and guess what? We've never had a super chat donation. You know what that is? That's where you can do a chat in the live chat. And if you pay money to do it, $2 or more, you can have your chat like show up highlighted where we see it, and it shows up for X amount of time. It's basically a donation to our show where you and I and Courtney and TJ get the money, right?
Yeah.
Which we split it $2 4 ways minus the 30%
Google's cut.
Google's cut is 30%. So the $1.70 that we make, we split it 4 ways, and then we all get to fucking take that, and then someone gets to. What did someone just say? Oh, TJ just loves the chat for real. Okay. Anyway, we never had a super chat yet. Oh, Event Horizon said, let me go grab my credit card. Dude, Event Horizon, if you do a super chat right fucking now, you will live on in the hall of fucking coolness of all even though it's just me and fucking Lance now. If you become our first super chat right now with no one watching, you're still going to be like talked about for generations to come.
Like, you won't believe what happened.
Like my kids who carry on the legacy, and they will talk about Event Horizon, who was the first super chat on this channel.
We'll write your name on the spaceship in place of ours. Like,
watch this, Lance. Go. Are you on our live chat on our Facebook?
On Facebook? I'm watching on YouTube.
I'm sorry, YouTube.
Yeah. Okay.
You go to YouTube. Do you see the live chat? You see that little dollar sign?
Yeah.
If you were to click on the dollar sign,
what happens here?
Don't do it. But if you click on the dollar sign, you can donate money to our channel up to $2 at a time, and you can give us money, and then your chat becomes like posted pinned to the top for a certain amount of time, and it forces us to see you. It becomes a different color. It's like red.
Good Lord, if you spend $500, you get to be up there for 5 hours.
I'll be up.
If you spend $1, you get to be up there for 0 seconds. But it's blue.
If you spend $500 right now, I swear to God, I will stay on for 5 hours, and I will just masturbate for the first 7 minutes, and then I will fall asleep in front of the camera for the rest of the 5 hours.
Well, he's got plans for the evening.
He says, "Hang on, inputting data." Holy shit, this motherfucker. There's no way Event Horizon. Do you have? Is there? Because our big fan is Beach Price, and she will not come on our show. And she says she's a full-time lurker. She refuses to come on anyone's show. I've had Surus try to get her on. I've had Steve McRae try to get her on. And she says, no, I'm just a chat girl. I just like chatting. And if her Event Horizon is like that, where he just wants to chat.
Maybe. I've been scammed before. I've been bamboozled. I think we're getting bamboozled right now.
I don't give a shit. I want to just hang on and see if he fucking inputs some fucking. If he super chats, we're gonna have to talk for a while, for as long as he gives. If it's like, let's say it's $7, we're gonna have to talk for 7 minutes more.
That's all you have to do.
I just threw. Oh, we have 4 viewers. Who are the other 2? Who are the other 2 viewers?
I see Event Horizon and Klaus and the participants right now.
Well, that's the other 2 viewers.
And for some reason, I don't see myself in there, so I don't know.
That weed that you gave me and Cindy that one time, was that medicinal? Was that like black market?
Man, I was just. It happened. It's happening.
Oh, it fucking just happened.
Fortunately, that gives you 7 minutes to masturbate.
I got to screenshot this. Hold on. How do you screenshot? Okay.
Print screen.
Print screen.
Well, I'm going to bed. No, I'm just kidding.
Are you fucking kidding me? He just did that. I'm about to screenshot this.
Yes, I'm kidding.
There is no way he just did that to us. Now we got to talk, Lance.
Okay. If only you and I were good at talking about shit.
You are way far left and I'm way far center. So can we talk? Have we already beat the pay gap and wage gap to death?
How
about equality versus equity? Event Horizon.
Oh, yeah.
I took a screenshot of that, and you are going to become fucking famous now. Oh, I mean,
yeah, it's happening. We should do it. It's a sponsored show, Event Horizon. What would you like us to talk about? We do have equality of opportunity versus equality of outcome as a super fun topic that I'd like to talk about. But what do you, the viewers at home, want to hear? And I swear to God, if you say military, it's just going to be Jim talking because I don't know shit. Be nothing. Okay. Well then, Jim. I support the idea of equality of outcome. And I think equality of opportunity is a nice idea, but not anywhere close to what we have. Therefore, let's stop pretending like that's something that we've acquired. You seem to be lagged out. Yep. You tried to get your eye lagged out. He fucking left. Am I still here? Test. Okay. Well, fuck. That virus you sent him with your $10 donation really took him out. Oh, what? The chat log doesn't go back that far. Oh man. I'm gonna make sure he has the link to this chat. Hold up. Yeah. It's like that scene in Wayne's World where like they give the mic to Garth and he's just like, "Hi." Or no, Wayne gets fired off the show and he's like, "I'm having a good time." Not. It's like that. Like, what am I supposed to talk about? So. Oh man. Women, right? Aren't they cool? I'm into women. Yeah, filibuster. But nobody's here to listen to me whine about stuff. Now, okay, so Star Wars Episode 7, right? Like, complete pointless drivel. I am so disappointed with the new Star Wars movies. I haven't seen Solo yet, so I don't know what that's going to be like, but so over them. What do you think? Yeah. Oh, what's the delay? I wonder. Hey, when you hear this, say 7. Okay, so probably about 15, 20 seconds. Wait, that's not what I want to do. I wonder if like his computer crashed or something. Leave me hanging here, bud. Sorry. We could turn this into a Twitch stream. I could play Fortnite. I don't know how. I've played it a couple times. It's not very good. What are you into? You into board games? Or video games? Or anything like that? Wait, were you talking military shit earlier? Okay, yeah. Politics. Man, you know the toughest thing about being an atheist is like not having any family. Like I'm in Texas, right? Obviously because of this business. But like none of my family is atheist and it's like I don't know who to talk to about shit. Obviously, I can't talk to Jim because he just fucking pieces out on me in the middle of a conversation.
I did.
What'd you do? Did you accept that $10 and was it a virus? Are you part of the botnet now?
Wait. You've been live this whole time when I've been trying to get back on?
Apparently, I've been talking to Event Horizon here.
Holy shit, because I just gave him a shout out and a thank you on his own YouTube channel. And I thought that I canceled this fucking live stream.
You did. Well,
are we still live?
Yeah.
We're still actually live.
Yep.
Wow.
What'd you think?
My laptop must have went to airplane mode or some shit.
Must have. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad you sent me a message.
Really? Oh shit, you got that.
Because I was about to peace out.
Did you think I left?
I thought my internet connection got disrupted, which it did.
I did. Let's see, we're talking about
Event Horizon I just took a screenshot. He's gonna go in